Jacob Cowan got a random catch yesterday. Should the Niners go in and make a move? And I don't even know what that move would be, honestly.
Yeah, I'm looking first off the Ricky Pearsall thing. I'm looking at it here. I'm very surprised to see that he's 6'3", or listed at 6'3".
Did not look like
looked
that.
Looked more like a 6'1" kind of.
Yeah.
Definitely at least didn't, because you can even be tall and lanky and right. That sometimes actually accentuates how tall you look. And I didn't really notice that he looked like he was hulking over other DBs or anything like that. So that definitely is interesting for sure. Maybe you could just attribute it to, with being out for 50 days, maybe he wasn't necessarily hitting the gym as hard as what he would have liked, and maybe he's not fully in football shape. But I think he's probably about where he normally would play, but he's probably not bigger or as big as what he would want. But yeah, I mean, I think that Niner team definitely got a hit in the mouth. I think that they were expecting that to be a lot more competitive of a game, and I'm sure they have a ton of regrets leaving it. And as you look forward, I mean, it's a really, really tough schedule. It's not even that the teams in front of them are all the best teams in the NFL, but it's just, you don't really have the cupcakes. You don't have the weeks to kind of get right. You're not playing the Jags. You're not playing the Browns. You're not playing any of the worst teams in the NFL. You're playing the Cowboys, the Bucks, the Seahawks. You got the Bills down the line. It's the Niners have to turn this thing around now, and I think it's why earlier this season when Bosa said, hey, I think it was after the Vikings loss, he said, we need to feel this. I kind of think this is what he was trying to avoid from a team perspective, is them kind of overlooking them. And I don't know. I mean, it just didn't really feel like the Niners were fully ready to go out yesterday. And I know, they obviously were a bit surprised to learn that Debo wasn't going to be able to finish the game. And then, of course, you couldn't see the Aiyuk injury beforehand. But it just didn't really feel like the Niners were there to meet the challenge that the Chiefs presented them, and it really did feel like the Chiefs just kind of did exactly what they wanted to do. I mean, that's been their game plan all year, is to kind of keep it low scoring and then in opportune moments strike. And really, I mean, it was a well fought game, but I just feel like the Niners didn't execute nearly well enough to win.
Well, and there is a clip, obviously the famous clip from Pedro Martinez when he says the Yankees are my daddy.
Right.
And the thing is, they make fun of it now that Pedro's on, I think it's TBS, and they'll have a daddy segment. And I guess it's whoever balls out, they'll say, who is your daddy for the night. And they just, the Chiefs just own the Niners. And what's funny is,
I thought Mike Shanahan was Kyle's dad.
Well, it depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
Okay? What's funny is the reason the Niners, I guess, get a pass is because, again, we're talking about an undefeated team. So it's not a team that only the Niners lose to, or it's a specific.
This is not the Cowboys. I mean, frankly, if that happens to the Cowboys or against the Cowboys this week, there's probably way more freak out than there's going to be this week, and even then, there's still freak out this week. I
saw a lot of Niner fans that weren't even really mad. They were just sad, right? And basically really referring to the Super Bowl, saying, after we lost that Super Bowl, I mean, this stuff just doesn't really bother me anymore. At least that's what I've heard and I've seen. 916-339-1140. If you want to be a part of the conversation, how are you feeling about the San Francisco 49ers after the loss? Because, you said it best, Chris. You get the Cowboys next. You got some teams coming up that you definitely can't sneeze at or snooze at. And ultimately, you go from a team who the vibes were so right. There's this, there's that. We tried to tell y'all, the numbers are the numbers. How tough it is to get back to a Super Bowl after you lose. I think only, 6 teams have done it. Something insane. We tried to put it out there, but not everybody, but a lot of people, oh no, the vibes are right. And even the Niners, they tried to fight it, but we saw it, okay? The collective we. And I don't even think Niners fans were going into this season with those same expectations, but they tried to fight against it. Media that wanted to shill for the Niners. No, everything's great. Nothing. It was never great. Can you just take a second to talk about and to relive what has happened with the Niners? You're about to start the season. All of a sudden, Christian McCaffrey. Oh, it's the calf. He'd play during the regular season. He'd play if it was a playoffs. We don't even know when he's going to play again. Then you have the tragedy with Ricky Pearsall getting shot. Okay, now you have this Brandon Aiyuk situation. Debo has missed time. George Kittle, all these guys. So we're very close, Chris, to, it's so funny, we're so close to this season might be cooked, but we're also very close to all we need is one thing to flip, and we're back in the game. So the Niners are going to have to decide over these next couple weeks which direction they want to go in. We have sound from the game, Ayuk's injury, Brock Purdy on dealing with the injuries, Ricky Pearsall, his first catch, and Ricky Pearsall on getting back in the game. Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our clients' portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Helping them achieve a comfortable
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411th North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
From the 916, Chris, 2024 combine of Ricky is 6'1", 189 pounds. Okay,
good.
That's what he looked like.
So I'm looking at ESPN has him listed at 6'3", 192.
Maybe that's what cleats on.
Let's see here.
I don't know. He had cleats on yesterday.
Yeah, and if you just Google him, it's 6'1". So
yeah,
I guess it might be an ESPN error.
That's what he looked like to me.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah,
look,
definitely.
he's coming back from the fact that he's out there. I can't state enough is incredible. You know, it was just the
goodness,
first time I got to see him, so
Yeah.
I was just kind of taking my tabs on, okay, what type of receiver
Right.
are we looking at here? I think people had said that. I'm trying to remember if I have it reversed or not, but he, of course, and I'm just going to say it, white receiver. People like to compare them. So I saw the Cooper Kupp comparisons, and either one of them was faster. I think Ricky was faster than Cooper Kupp, but Cooper Kupp is bigger. I think that's what it was, and those were those type of comparisons. Just trying to figure out what type of weapon it is that Ricky Pearsall is going to be for this San Francisco 49ers team. But we have much bigger problems than Ricky Pearsall right now for the San Francisco 49ers. 916-339-1140. Let's open up the phone lines. Brandon, we see you, but first we're going to go to TC, and we know TC can't be happy about what happened yesterday. What's up, TC? What you got for us?
What's up with my big dogs, man? Hey, Chris, Alan, what's up?
What's
What
up,
up,
man?
TC?
Before we get started, I didn't mean to cut you off. Before we get started, please answer me this question truthfully. I know you guys can't do too much though, but are you guys seeing what I'm talking about with this dude, Kyle?
Yesterday wasn't great. Okay, I will tell you that. Yesterday
I've seen pieces.
There was definitely a separation between Andy Reid and Kyle Shanahan for sure.
Yeah.
Period, point blank. Also, with Brock Purdy, the anticipation throws, we already said that was going to get him in trouble, bro. Now we got to find out if he's the guy. But hold on, let me back up a little bit, right? Because it goes back to Kyle. Listen, this dude always, he's micromanaging quarterbacks. That's why Brock looked so scared yesterday. What Brock was doing, that was out of scaredness because Kyle's always trying to tell his quarterback where to throw the ball. The quarterback can't check at the line. He can't throw to another receiver. That quarterback sneak that Brock did, that when we scored that quarterback sneak, he did that. That play was supposed to go to J.P. Mason. If y'all pay attention, go back and look at that play. Before, when they was breaking the huddle, going before he hiked the ball, Brock looked back at J.P. Mason and shook his head and said, no. He kept the ball, bro. That was supposed to go to him. Kyle was telling, when he threw that pick on the goal line, that was the read that Kyle wanted him to throw to, no matter what. Kyle's a joke, bro. I'm over this guy, and I'm glad this fan base is starting to see it. This dude is not it, bro. I'm telling you, he's bringing Brock down. Brock didn't have he had a bad game, and Brock got a lot to work on with man coverage, but a lot of that, bro, has to do with Kyle. Kyle does not unleash a quarterback. He can't develop a quarterback. Has he ever developed a quarterback, and will he ever develop a quarterback? No, man. This head coach is a joke, bro, a high-level loser, and everybody thinks I'm crazy when I say that, bro, but Kyle is a joke, bro, and he's not it. Give me Ben Johnson from the Lions right now.
Thanks for the call, TC.
A high-level loser.
High-level loser.
I haven't heard that one before.
Nicely done.
I like that.
I mean, not that I'm not saying nicely
no,
done,
I'm not
that I
saying
agree.
I just really
or
like
disagree. But
Ben Johnson too. He's already got the replacement.
I saw
the guy
it
who
yesterday.
choked in the NFC Championship.
I saw.
game?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, right. It actually was very Kyle Shanahan what happened with Ben Johnson in the NFC Championship. It wasn't in the Super Bowl, but there you have it. So we're about to get to Brandon. I saw this, and as far as what TC is talking about, of course, it got reported in two different ways. I saw somebody say Brock Purdy got scolded for about 30 minutes by Kyle Shanahan after the game, and then somebody else saying they had such an intense conversation. So this was, so I have the two versions of it, Chris, because I just find it funny.
The duality.
Yes, the duality of a situation. And this is Grant Cohn. Kyle Shanahan just lectured Brock Purdy for 5 minutes at his locker. Purdy listened and said nothing. Never saw anything like it. And this is from David Lombardi. After his presser, Kyle Shanahan stopped by Brock Purdy's locker. The two had a prolonged chat that ended with a big handshake.
Well,
same conversation.
Gosh, and I was almost gonna say, this is a plus for everyone out there. When we were asking, should as it became a big story a couple weeks ago, should media be allowed in the locker room? Like those are the kind of things that you miss if media's not in there. But then the problem is they spin it two completely different ways because you can literally just, that's almost journalism 101. Like those two tweets should be shown in every single sports journalism class in the nation and say, this is how you craft a narrative. Either way, on either side, because the wording, everything, like that is a masterclass of work by those two individuals right there.
Look,
again, I don't really have an opinion on that specific situation, but I will just say that's masterfully crafted by both of those.
Yeah, Temple University, my major was strategic communications, and that's exactly what this is. All we know, if you weren't there, all we know is that Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan had a conversation after the game.
Yep.
Was it positive? Was it negative? One says there was a big handshake. The other says he was lectured. Do either of them actually know?
Hey, man, lectures can end in handshakes.
That's right. That's right. Somebody else can say he was scolded.
It's just funny.
All right, for a while.
Stop by. I like the stop by.
Yeah, hey, I'm going to stop by. Text.
I was already on my way this way. I'm just going to,
shot him a
make
text.
A little detour.
Hey, can I stop by real quick?
Yeah, exactly.
916-339-1140. Brandon wants to stop by the show and give his thoughts. What's up, Brandon? Stiles Watkins, what you got?
What's up, guys?
How you doing?
I'm missing a lot of our offensive weapons, but I think what's killing the Niners is the missing of Dre Greenlaw. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Devondre Campbell has worse lateral movement than a grizzly bear. The dude's 31 going on 40. Yeah. Before yesterday's game, he missed 25% of his tackle opportunities, and he's allowed over 80% completion percentage. The dude needs to be off the field. I think he's one of the worst defensive starters in the league, and until they get that problem fixed, the defense just is going to be in trouble every game, in my opinion. What do you guys think about that?
Man.
Yeah, no, thanks for the call, Brandon. You were getting a thumbs up from Nate back there.
I have a clarification, too. He's not only one of the worst defensive starters in the league, one of the worst starters in the league on both sides of the ball.
Wow.
He's horrible. He's horrible, and he's old, and he's slow, and he's bad, and the team misses the energy of Dre Green. Obviously, it's not all on Dre Greenlaw. Sorry if I'm getting on a tangent here. But
no, it's fine. This is coming from a guy who's got Colton McKivitz on his offense. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Saying a lot.
This is Colton. Jeez, threw me off there.
Sorry.
Devondre Campbell's horrible. Not only are they missing the play of Dre Greenlaw, they're missing the rah-rah. They're missing the fieriness.
The Draymond aspect.
Yeah,
the Draymond of
Draymond Greenlaw. Yeah.
Right. He broke down the linebackers before the game, and you could tell he just wants to be out there so bad. You know, I don't think this would have actually helped from a literal standpoint in the game, but people were talking about that Mahomes play and how it wasn't necessarily the fake slide, but he kind of looked like he was going to step out. Nobody wants to touch him, and somebody said at the end of the day, Dre Greenlaw would have sent him to the third row. And you know what? Maybe they still lose, but at least a message. You just they took your lunch money. They came into your house, and they at the very least, I'm leaving here with something. If I'm Dre Greenlaw, I'm sending that. You're not gonna fake, do the toe tap on me. No. I'm sending this man to the third row. I don't care, and they are missing that. They probably still lose because that would have hurt them.
Yeah.
But at least it would have sent the message: we ain't going out like no punks.
No.
And they kind of went out like some punks last night.
Yeah, no, it feels like, again, I bring it up a couple different times, but like a couple of years ago, it used to be the rap on the Niners. Like, they're so physical. It was the stat of, every single week after you play them, that team loses, and it feels like they've lost that edge. And I think Dre Greenlaw was a huge part of just the physicality of that team. And they're definitely not the same physically without him. And, defensively, they've been relying a lot on Bosa and Warner to kind of keep the float, the ship from sinking. And, I think they really miss the physicality of some of the guys that they've lost on the defensive end. Maybe even Javon Hargrave a little bit.
Yeah, well, I will say this, and I'm trying to think off the top of my head who it was. I just said what I said about Dre Greenlaw. Mm-hmm. There is a way to do this, though, because I'll tell you this much. And again, I don't think this is the reason why the Niners lost. But when Patrick Mahomes threw that pick and homeboy gave him the throat punch, okay, and it didn't get called, I don't think that helped. So there is a level to doing things a certain way. Sure. All I think it did was tick Patrick Mahomes off. And we all saw the little throat punch. And I just don't do stuff like that if you're not going to be about that business. And the Niners were not about that business or that action in yesterday's game. Okay, let's get to this Aiyuk sound when the injury happens. Chris's favorite broadcaster, Tom Brady, just says some sounds, okay? He just says some sounds during the injury. Brock Purdy on dealing with the injuries and having to be Superman. And we got some really good Ricky Pearsall sounds. Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
O'Reilly! Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts in West Sacramento and Town Center Plaza next to Nugget Markets now through October 29th for the Customer Appreciation Day sale. You'll get 2 times O Rewards points on select purchases. Plus, pick up 5 quarts of any Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil and receive a $10 gift card after rebate. And buy one, get one free Coca-Cola products at your Town Center Plaza, O'Reilly Auto Parts.
What sets Ashton & Price apart from other injury law firms? I'll tell you. From beginning to end, all important legal decisions are made directly between our clients and their experienced local attorney. A gate agent flying the plane, the receptionist performing surgery, not a chance. There's simply no substitute for the unique power of the direct attorney-client relationship offered by Ashton and Price. And there's never a fee until we win, and between you and me, we win a lot.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Fall's right around the corner, and there's no better way to experience nature and everything that Northern California has to offer than in a Jeep. And right now, it's Jeep Adventure Days at Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. And they've got the deals and selection for you. From sales to service, they're going to prove to you why they deserve your business. Their GM, Chuck Dean, he has this talent of not only getting you the best deal in town, but he also is able to build an inventory that other dealers are jealous of. SacsSuperstore.com and located off of Business 80 across from Hagen Oaks Golf Course. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
From the 5-3-0, wanted to share some thoughts on where the team stands after yesterday's performance. Basically just saying that they're trying to figure out if this is the last dance or if the Niners should think about resetting. And I think the whole resetting aspect and finding players in the draft and things like that, I think that resetting aspect, that's where the Kyle Shanahan question comes into play because, we talk about this with quarterbacks, Chris. How many quarterbacks stay through, what do we have the over-under, through 3 coaches, because we were talking about the Jags a lot. If you're going to go some version of a rebuild, which I don't even think you can do 5-3-0 because, you have Christian McCaffrey who's coming back. Your roster isn't really set to rebuild. And I guess if you're going to move off of George Kittle, move off of Debo.
The rookies came to play.
They did.
Too. The past 2 weeks, the rookies have been playing, especially Malik Mustafa.
Malik Mustafa is a...
Renardo Green's a great pickup,
He did get trucked, though.
Sure.
But he did do some trucking.
Yes, he did. I think he did enough.
What did he say? He said sometimes you sometimes you got, sometimes you get got.
Yes.
And he got both.
Renardo Green, I think, is going to be here to stay post Travarius Ward. I think it'll be him and Lenore for a while. Garendo... It just has a problem holding on to that football.
Yeah.
But besides that, I think the rookies for the Niners are showing up. And then last thing, just I'll be quiet the rest of the show. I'll be like a caller. I'll stay in my lane. This is the first game this year where I believe Christian McCaffrey would have most likely won the game for the Niners. They needed him the most this game, and he wasn't there.
So, look, not me, but a buddy of mine decided to take the Jordan Mason receptions, okay? Because his thought process was Spagnuolo brings, I'm talking about prop talk, Spagnuolo brings the house a lot. Brock just dump it off. Jordan Mason, we know, is not known for his catching ability, but I'm just wondering, Chris, how bad could it be in practice?
They're not even giving him a chance.
He had 1 reception. Yeah. And they bring the house that much, and you have your position players are dropping like flies. Yeah. Can we just watch him drop? Because I'm trying to think if I remember him even dropping a ball. I don't even think he got any targets. No. That's just what's so weird to me. Even Derrick Henry, Najee Harris, these guys that are not known for catching the football. It's kind of like other things in life. You have to adapt to your surroundings. And I think Derrick Henry is better at catching the football now. Najee Harris is better at catching the football now. So you got to either get with it or get lost. I know he's working on it. So to me, I'm not even putting that on Jordan Mason. I'm putting that on Kyle Shanahan for not just at least trusting it. Let's watch him drop the ball. They're just little floater passes. How hard could it be? I know it's easy for me to say from my couch, but what are we talking about here? He had 1 reception. Please, somebody remind me if there was an obvious drop. So he did. So he did get my over.
He had 2.
So he did. My buddy's over. Yeah. So he did get the 2.
He only had 2 targets though.
2 targets. You should be wearing that out.
Yeah.
And I know he's not the same guy. This guy, and I know Emil took him in fantasy football. He's no Breece Hall, but the way that you utilize these guys, it's a game breaker. Yeah. That's what Nate was talking about. But if you don't throw them the football, then you're not going to get these opportunities. It just felt like there was no game plan.
You know who had more targets than Jordan Mason? Kyle Juszczyk. Three of them.
Goodness.
3 of them. So, I mean, that's part of your answer,
and he
too.
Rushed.
And he had no catches. I mean, he did have a rush as well. Jordan Mason had 16 total touches, and I think that's something that we've been talking about a lot in general. It's just like it just feels like the Jordan Mason conversation not only is a passing one, but also he only rushes the ball 14 times, and I don't know where he stands now, but he's been a top 3 rusher in the NFL all year long, and the fact that it just doesn't feel like they've given him the full reins to be that bell cow back, it's just strange. It just doesn't make sense, and maybe that's to what TC's talking about, where Kyle Shanahan gets in his own way and tries to outsmart the room and everything like that. And I get that you don't want to keep running the ball when you're down, especially on the Chiefs, but I don't know.
They were never down like that, though.
Not really. I mean, it really feels like they panic and they feel like the pass game is their best weapon to get down the field. And when Brock's throwing the way that he was yesterday, just being careless. I mean, all 3 of Brock's interceptions were in the Chiefs' side of the field yesterday. You just can't have that. And it just feels like they should have leaned a little bit more on that run game. And it's something we've talked about all year. It does feel like they're really trying to win or lose games with Brock, and clearly they've lost more this year than they've lost with Brock in the past. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know if an adjustment is coming or if they're just going to continue to double down on what Kyle's been doing here recently, because again, Kyle's a very prideful guy. I don't know if they really want to switch up from how they've been playing.
There was just no creation. What is it about Kyle Shanahan's offense that screams genius to you?
Not right now.
This used to be where Kyle Shanahan would want to cook.
Yes.
Oh, I'm missing dudes?
Yeah.
Let me show you what I can do.
Right.
That man, he was locked out the kitchen yesterday. That's exactly what happened. Okay, let's get to some of this audio. This is the first audio, and obviously it's a serious situation, but I know Chris Watkins is going to have a hard time because I already played the clip during the pre-show, and this is basically when they show the slow-mo of it, and Tom Brady is reacting to it as they show the injury. Here it is.
Big hit there by Connor coming out of the middle of the field. Ooh. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
So obviously not great stuff there, Tom Brady. Again.
Oh, boy.
It's just, and now that you said, and now that you said something, I can't even listen to his broadcast anymore.
It's over. It's over. I will say he was a lot better than he was a couple weeks ago, where again, like, he's actively yelling as the ball. Oh, okay. And he didn't have. I didn't remember any moments like that. I think I might have watched the TV a little bit lower this time, but. It was a strange Brady day too. I thought it was interesting. I don't know if you guys caught on it.
I'm curious what you're about to
Brock's
say here.
2 best throws of the day. Dude. He literally said that's an average throw on one of them.
Yes.
And both of them were behind, but usually you just don't hear. And maybe that's supposed to be Brady's thing, and maybe he is being honest, and maybe he is true. But it was just a little bit crazy that Brock's best 2 throws of the day, the only 2 downfield throws, he was like, yeah, both of these left a lot to the imagination.
He was saying that those should have been touchdowns.
Yeah. That's the thing, is I don't think necessarily he's wrong. I don't know if he's wrong, but it was just very interesting to hear him be critical, really. I mean, it was very, that is, and not, you wonder, especially from a broadcaster perspective, you usually just say, oh man, what an adjust. You're not going to openly say that wasn't a great throw, especially, again, it's not that it's wrong, it's just I don't know if I've heard a broadcaster openly say like that he said that was an average throw.
And I don't even know what he's allowed to say since he's an owner.
Right, maybe that's the only space in which he can criticize.
Right, well, the thing about it, as far as Brock is concerned, is we're seeing a pattern here, as people like to talk about Brock Purdy's arm a lot. And what was it? Was that last week, Chris, with the Debo touchdown? And some people said that ball was underthrown. Okay, and then no, there was a safety, so he left it short on purpose. Blah 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 blah. But we're seeing now on these throws, Brock Purdy seems to leave them a bit short. Yep. And look, I don't know who, and this isn't necessarily the time for the conversation, but now I'm thinking about it. Who challenges Tom Brady? Who challenges Tom Brady's legacy more, right? Brock Purdy or Patrick Mahomes. If anything, you would have thought that Tom Brady would have maybe tried to.
I mean, Brock is more his story.
Terms
of, I thought he would have.
I think it's an interesting conversation.
Yeah, I thought he would have big upped him. I thought he would have been like, as a former 6th round draft pick myself.
He didn't talk about any of that.
None of that. He
just said,
which is fair.
His arm is boo boo.
I think that's fair, though. You want the conversation to stop being about Brock and where he's picked and have it be about where he is in the moment in time. And, that was, again, one of his worst performances of his entire career. So, at least Tom wasn't trying to frame it as anything else, right? Like sometimes we get mad at broadcasts and analysts in general for, trying to massage things or say things weren't as bad as what we all saw with our eyes. And I think it was interesting. I mean, that's why Tom Brady is there. He is, viewed as the greatest quarterback, greatest player of all time. He's there to give you the thoughts that maybe you're not thinking, somebody sitting on the couch, but somebody who's been there, done that, knows that ball should be in a better place. And it was refreshing, but it also definitely caught me off guard.
Let's change the mood a little bit with this Ricky Pearsall sound. First, we have his first catch. And then we have Ricky talking about a light that grew inside of him once he knew he could play football again. Here is the catch.
Purdy over the middle. That ball is caught up to the 25, and it is caught by Pearsall, his first NFL catch. And if you just tuned in and don't know the story, listen to this crowd. A standing ovation.
I thought that was the stadium.
That they put it in. Yeah. And here is Ricky Pearsall talking about the light that grew inside of him as soon as the doctors told him he was going to be able to play football again.
That was obviously my first thoughts through the whole incident was, if I was going to be alive or not, and that was the first thing I was thinking of, and making sure, that I got in contact with my family members. But once I knew I was going to be okay, and I was going to be able to live, the next question came, was I going to be able to play football now? And as soon as I got that answer, a light just grew inside of me, and I was super excited to hear that from the doctor. So,
Ricky Pearsall on a day where there was not much to cheer about for the 49ers. We were all rooting and continue to root for one slick Rick. Let's get into this Deshaun Watson situation and Aiden O'Connell for the Raiders, as Jacoby Myers might have to take some throws. That's how far gone the Raiders are. We'll get into that on the other side. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find Kevin Herter is Sacktown Sports.
Herter's open, steps into three. He's got the triple.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Kevin Herter, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick. Soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors.
Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Don't miss the action as the Kings tip off their 40th season in Sacramento. Be there for opening night at Golden One Center on Thursday, October 24th, when the Kings take on the Minnesota Timberwolves at 7 p.m. Tickets for all games are on sale now, so be sure to get yours to see De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, new addition DeMar DeRozan, and all of your Sacramento Kings take the court. Head to kings.com/tickets to secure your seat for the action.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned certified cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our certified cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home of the 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
October is ending, but I want to keep the fall fun going. So I shopped Kohl's lowest prices of the season. I saved 30% on top active brands like Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. Then I got my kids some boots for under $22. Scored 50% off Food Network baking must-haves, and earned Kohl's Cash. Yeah, it doesn't get better than Kohl's. Select styles. Offers end October 27th. Coupons do not apply to Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Did you know that Wendy's has any size soft drinks for just $1? Yeah, any size, anytime. Like $1 Coke, $1 Sprite, or even $1 strawberry Fanta. Okay, could we maybe switch up the sound effect, please? 'Cause I'm losing it. Wow, no, not that. Any size soft drink for just $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. A la carte only. Not valid in a combo. Exclusions apply.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
At the law offices of Dale R. Gomes, we understand that when you're facing a crisis, you need more than just a lawyer. You need a team. Our dedicated attorneys work together, combining decades of experience to guide you through personal injury or criminal defense matters with care and expertise. We're committed to supporting you every step of the way, ensuring your voice is heard and your rights are protected. With offices in Sacramento and El Dorado County, reach out to the law offices of Dale R. Gomes today, 916-999-9033, or online at dalegomslaw.com.
Don't let summer energy slip away. Live the active life you love year-round with a personally fit arch support system from the Good Feet store. Precision engineered to support all 4 arches. Good Feet puts your feet in a more ideal, comfortable, and pain-free position. And Good Feet arch supports are now HSA and FSA eligible. Book a free fitting at goodfeet.com or come in and get a free pair of OS First Performance socks. Free. Normally a $25 value at the Good Feet store.
The first big sale of the year on the all-new 2025 Silverado is on at Maida Chevy.
With $8,000 off MSRP after rebates, every new 2025 half-ton LT, RST, LTZ, and High Country in stock at Maida Chevy.
And Maida Chevy has the largest selection of new 2025 Silverados in the Sacramento area.
$8,000 off new 2025 Silverado at Maida Chevy. Now that's big, huge. MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers. Ends 10/31/24. Source internet search 10/17/24.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411th North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Sam Morrill returns to the Crest for a night of nonstop laughs, and of course, Sacktown Sports wants you in the building. All you have to do is hit up the Folsom Lake Honda hotline at 12:30. We will pick that lucky caller to score that pair of tickets and check out Sam Morrill at the Crest Theater in beautiful downtown Sacramento next May, courtesy of Live Nation. So you got a while to plan for it. Next May. For more information, visit sacktownsports.com. 916. Brady's still salty about that butt whooping Purdy gave him in his first start. You might be right about that. You might be on to something.
He was kind of saying, I wouldn't say trash talking Mahomes too, but he would gush over some of the stuff Mahomes did, but then be pretty critical of him as well. Which is, I mean, I don't know what the vitriol there is. And he also threw in, the time I beat Mahomes.
Right. What was it, 3rd and long, where Mahomes, they tried to get Travis Kelce on that double move, and he stumbled, and he said, Mahomes he's got to let go of that football quicker.
Or the deep ball.
It was so weird. He's like, there, and then he throws it, and I was like,
there. There's a little.
Yeah.
I don't think he was catching that ball. When you got Travis Kelce doing double move go route, like that's a problem.
Yes.
The Chiefs, how did the Niners lose? How did they lose? How did they lose?
Chiefs magic. I mean, yeah, you're the only one that picked them to lose.
Man, I can't believe that. I really thought the Niners had. What do you mean? I really thought the Niners had it there.
No, they didn't. They didn't. They were not in control at all.
I mean, look, would I have picked the Niners if I knew they were going to lose Brandon Aiyuk and Debo couldn't breathe? No, I wouldn't have picked the Niners.
No, I don't think they were going to win with them either.
Spags has their number, man. They just I mean, you know,
how does
we
it? But how? Yeah. If you are,
you're a great defensive mind.
If you are an offensive gene, but it's like we watched the same movie over and over again. This one was a little bit different because the Niners actually had the lead in some of the other games. But how you're Kyle Shanahan, you're an offensive genius. Is it just again? Spagnuolo is my daddy. Is it just that simple?
It's the same thing with Flores. I mean, he has like Schwartz too. We've talked about this. There's probably like 20 people on the planet, and they're all related to those guys. You know, work closely with them.
Everybody
that just
in that
know
scheme,
how to beat him. That just know how it works. So
Right.
they just have his weakness, and obviously they're not going to tell us.
But that is the difference to me, and why there are levels to this. Between Andy Reid, and that's what people are saying. Kyle Shanahan has a scheme. Andy Reid is just a great, not to say that Kyle Shanahan is not a great football mind, but Andy Reid can adapt.
But this is offensive defense here. You're talking about Andy Reid's play calling on the offensive front against the Niners defensive head coach, and then Shanahan against Spagnuolo.
No. I'm saying Andy Reid, day to day or game to game, has not been figured out. And maybe having Mahomes is part of that. I'm I'm sure.
Yeah.
Having Mahomes is part of that. But what you're saying is that there are certain guys that understand what Kyle Shanahan likes to do
offensively.
Yeah. And Kyle Shanahan has not been able to counterpunch what they know.
Exactly. That is exactly what I'm saying. He has not even counterpunch. He can't even throw a punch, really. He really can't.
Yeah.
Like, it's over before, I mean, Vikings the last 2 years. I think those are the prime examples. It's just can't get the ball rolling, and anytime you get any momentum, it's completely gone. It's completely gone immediately, and there's just nothing that he can do.
I think part of it is exposing the line too. You know, I think a lot of the time it's the Niners' offensive line in games in which they can protect. It feels like they even showed the stat. There's slight corollary to it, but they even showed the stat during the game of the Niners' record when Brock doesn't throw interceptions versus the games where he does throw interceptions, and it goes from, you know, I think it's something crazy like 11-0 to, you know, 500 when he does throw the interceptions. I think a big part of that is how much pressure he sees on a play-by-play basis. And I think Brian Flores, I think Spags, and a lot of the great defensive coordinators out there, they just know how to find weaknesses and cause pressure in crazy situations and bring it from places you don't expect. So I would guess that has a big part to do with why specifically they have Brock struggling where other teams don't really get him to struggle, is just people in his face.
So we'll go around the NFL and give you all the injuries, but two of the main injuries we wanted to focus on. Deshaun Watson, Chris, I know you have some notes on this, suffers a season-ending Achilles tendon rupture. I don't know who watched it, okay? It popped up on my screen on accident, and I don't know if it's because I did it myself. I had to watch it, all right? But it was obvious. It's the most obvious injury when it happens. There's really no question marks. He's crying as he's getting carted off. There's a lot of places we can go with this, Chris, but just the initial kind of notes that you have on the Deshaun Watson situation.
I mean, you just knew it was immediately. I mean, I was watching the play on Red Zone as it happened, and you see him, you know, take the drop back out of center, and then he just immediately went down, and you knew, you know, just by the way he went down, it was like, okay, that was kind of looked like it was meant to be a QB draw, and then for him to go down like that and then immediately grab at his ankle, you just knew what it was, and, you know, obviously, like you said, there's so much that goes into that entire conversation, but first and foremost, I mean, he's in the just lay out the details of everything where the Browns currently stand. He's in his third year with Cleveland after signing a 5-year, $230 million deal. He only played 19 games for the Browns. The Browns gave up 3 first-round picks, and he still has $170 million in cap commitments to Watson's future. So, you know, it's you know, I obviously, you know, I almost want to say, you know, you don't want anyone to get injured, but I think that's part of the conversation with Deshaun Watson, and I don't want to kind of, you know, dip our toe into the conversation without going full in it, because I think there's so many different layers, but it was just surreal. I mean, especially with all the conversations you and I had personally about, you know, hey, how is this not Jameis's team by now? How have they not inserted Jameis Winston in going into the game? Jameis Winston isn't even active. He's their third emergency quarterback.
Right.
It was just such a weird set of circumstances that led to that injury. And then, Jameis ends up checking in. It was so strange. And all the things that have came out from it. I mean, LeBron has came out and said, Cleveland, be better. Don't boo when a player gets hurt.
Jameis Winston.
Jameis had a long speech rant about Deshaun Watson and how he was treated. I know Myles Garrett had some comments, and people have just taken and ran with it. I don't really want to give my thoughts without kind of having the proper amount of time to lay it all out.
Yeah, and the Jameis is about 2 minutes of Jameis pretty much saying, "Oh well, he gave everything he could for you specifically."
He said he laid his life on the line.
Laid his life on the line, and really it was more about Jameis is separate. The whole thing is confusing, to your point, Chris, because Jameis is saying you're booing this man when I get it. Everybody wants to win. I'm from the South, and he did everything he could to help the team win, even if he wasn't successful in that happening. Browns fans are now kind of doubling and trying to play it as if, not that I talk to a ton of Browns fans, but they're trying to play this off like they were cheering because they don't agree with Deshaun Watson, the person, when in reality, Browns fans already kind of showed us who they were when they signed Deshaun Watson, and not all Browns fans, but when they had the massage tables at training camp and they said, hey, we're sticking with you, Deshaun. So they didn't have a problem with the Deshaun Watson thing until he started sucking at football.
Yeah.
So that's the issue. So Jameis, a lot of people are saying that what Jameis said was kind of off the mark, but we were talking about this before the show. Well, it kind of wasn't, because they're all he's keeping it to football because they were all in the building. Deshaun wasn't getting booed every time he touched the football, right? He had the allegations the whole time he's been with Cleveland, and you weren't booing him there.
No, we're not.
So Jameis is saying, I'm talking about him as a football player because I know that, not that we agree with how Jameis went about it, but I know that you're booing him as a football player, not a person.
Right.
So essentially, Jameis is saying, y'all shouldn't be booing because you don't have a problem. We already know you don't have a problem with Deshaun.
Right.
The person. Now you have a problem with Deshaun, the football player. So very, very
it's
confusing.
Just confusing.
Complicated is the perfect word for it.
Yeah, it's a lot. And I mean, obviously, first and foremost, I'll just say, I've been on the side of Deshaun Watson should be playing from day one. So it's not, my silence is not based off of, fear of repercussion or anything like that. I just think that there's, like you just laid out perfectly, there's just so many layers to it that I understand why the player side of it, even like LeBron, I get why they're out there saying, like, look, it doesn't really matter what the circumstances are. When somebody's hurt, maybe don't cheer for them. But at the same time, it's just such a bad situation that, I could imagine somebody who is a lifelong Browns fan and wasn't a fan of the Deshaun Watson coming in and joining their team to say, not even necessarily, I'm happy he's hurt, but I'm glad that my team can finally move on from this mess that they really shouldn't have put themselves in the first place. And I've had to have discussions as a Browns fan about morality and, how I view this team and what is sports and all these things that you just didn't want to answer because you just wanted to like a football team. I understand why a fan like that would cheer in a situation like that. I really do. And I don't know where I would be personally. To be honest, I probably might lean on the side of cheering because I could imagine being a sports fan and loving sports like I do. If you ruin something like that, like frankly Deshaun Watson has probably ruined the conversation for a lot of Browns fans about their team, I could imagine just being happy that situation's over with. But I don't really want to be on the side of rooting for guys' injuries and as somebody is tearing their Achilles or rupturing their Achilles, everybody should have some sympathy for it, but I understand where maybe a lot of people are at the point where they just can't bring themselves to feel bad for Deshaun Watson.
No, yeah.
It's so complicated.
Yeah, it's
more
sure
just I
is.
understand both sides.
We'll get back into it later in the show, but it's time to play some Blame Pie on the other side. And Kyle Shanahan, Brock Purdy, and Brandon Aiyuk's injury will all be featured. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
Every 4 years, the world watches every corner kick, every save, every pass. The world watches its most beautiful game played at its highest level. And for a moment, the world stops turning for soccer. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026, supporting possibilities turned into achievements on the biggest stage. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A., member FDIC.
Cybersecurity Awareness Month is in full swing, and LifeLock is here to spotlight the threat of phishing, those sneaky scams designed to trick you into revealing your personal information. While staying alert is important, true protection goes beyond just awareness. That's where LifeLock steps in with comprehensive protection. LifeLock doesn't just warn you about suspicious activity. LifeLock monitors your personal info and resolves identity theft issues if they arise. Take control of your security. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Did you know that replacing garage doors is the biggest return on investment homeowners can get on improvements? Jason Ross here, and let me tell you about the Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, a family-owned and operated company with third-generation owners that's been in business for 71 years right here in Sacramento. With new garage doors from Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, you'll not only get the wow factor, but you'll also know that you're working with a well-respected and proven company. Residential and commercial, brand new garage doors, or repairs to existing doors, they do it all. Take advantage of their free at-home estimates on new garage doors or check out the showroom with no appointment needed. And while you're at it, mention me, Jason Ross, or Sacktown Sports and receive $100 off a new garage door paired with a new garage door opener. Check out their website at ohdsac.com or call them at 916-421-3747. Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, the genuine, the original overhead door. Always look for the red ribbon logo.
It's 4th and goal. The pressure's on. The home team needs this to win it. No matter what you're up against, it's always a win at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Special finance options and trade-in offers make it easier than ever to upgrade your ride. Because at Stockton Honda, we believe everyone deserves a winning deal.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's L1 report.
The Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is your unsurpassed spot to find the hottest golf gear, best pricing, and elite expertise. Every club on the shelves can be tried for free on the driving range. 3 TrackMan units and a Hagen Oaks team of skilled fitting professionals provide the finest club fitting experience. Our personable Super Shop staff will show you the newest to help you look and play your best. You love golf. The Hagen Oaks team loves golf too. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue at Business 80. Learn more at hagenoaks.com or 916-481-GOLF.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
Insurance companies perform a very valuable service, but they want to keep their money. Although most cases settle before trial, it is paramount that the insurance companies know that if pressed, your legal team has the experience to take your case all the way. For 25 years, Ashton & Price has earned the reputation that if the insurance company isn't fair, we're ready to force them to be fair. My mom used to warn me, wait till Dad gets home. Think of us as Dad. The best part, there's no fee until we win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Okay, everyone, what did you think of the chocolate bar?
It's too chewy.
Feels kind of chalky.
Too much nougat.
I need to go brush my teeth.
Business is booming for Steph's small marketing research firm.
After all these focus groups, there's only one conclusion. I need more researchers.
And she's way too busy researching.
Does this have peanuts?
To waste time researching resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Every 4 years, the world watches every corner kick, every save, every pass. The world watches its most beautiful game played at its highest level. And for a moment, the world stops turning for soccer. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026, supporting possibilities turned into achievements on the biggest stage. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A., member FDIC.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140. Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Apple pie. Cherry pie. It's another pie, Chris. Lemon meringue pie.
I think you can do any fruit.
Pumpkin pie.
Peach.
Peach pie.
Key lime.
Cow pie.
Key lime pie. Well, it's time to play a little bit of blame pie. As we look at the Niners' loss, another loss yet again to the Kansas City Chiefs. And we have a number of people and players that we can put in the blame pie, Chris. We have one, Kyle Shanahan. We have Brock Purdy. We have the injuries to Brandon Aiyuk and Deebo Samuel. And I'm putting in Nick Sorensen as well. Before we start divvying this thing up, we have some sound from the one, the only Grant Cohn, as he does these post-game kind of walk and talks. I believe the audio is good enough. I tried to double check. But we just have a clip from his immediate reaction after the loss. And this is his take on, or some of his take on Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy. This is him literally walking throughout the building, just not screaming, but talking about the game as soon as it happens. And I think either headed to the presser or the presser just ended and he's headed to the locker room. Here it is.
But one team had a coach in Andy Reid who could scheme open players against man-to-man coverage. And the other team had a coach in Kyle Shanahan who could not scheme open players against man-to-man coverage, and that was the difference in the game. Patrick Mahomes was not great, but he made great plays to win the game. Brock Purdy started forcing stuff because no one was open, and he was awful. He threw an interception in the end zone with the game on the line to a double-covered Chris Conley. Like, Brock Purdy was bad in this game, but Kyle Shanahan was worse. Here's why Kyle Shanahan is a fraud. He's good at passing against base defenses on rundowns when they're playing soft zone coverage and are primarily concerned about stopping the run. But once he faces a defense that can stop his run game with just their front seven, and then they can play man coverage behind it with either one high safety or two high safeties, he has nothing in his playbook to scheme receivers open against man-to-man coverage.
So that was Grant Cohn of Sports Illustrated on his take immediately after the game. Chris, your thoughts on... He goes on to say, I think we cut that a little early, I think he calls Kyle Shanahan a soft coverage merchant, something like some term that he comes up with. How much of the pie are you giving to Kyle Shanahan?
I mean, he definitely deserves a portion of it for sure. I mean, it's his job to have his team ready and probably game planned a little bit better than that. I mean, even like the Niners scripted plays, it didn't really feel like, the beginning of the game. The beginning of the game felt like a good script to me. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I definitely think Kyle deserves, somewhere near 15 to 25% of the blame. I mean, when this is a familiar opponent, you need to make sure that your team isn't feeling down and is ready for the challenge. And it just didn't feel like the Niners were the aggressor in that game really much at all. It felt like a lot of it was reactionary. And I know a lot of the time they're playing from ahead, but it did feel like they were, as we talk about all the time, it really felt like they knew they were off script and they were trying so hard to get back on script instead of being adaptable.
Zone coverage merchant. That's what he was called. And again, I think it goes to a little bit does go to who was available for Kyle Shanahan. But then the opposite of that is that Andy Reid, he was missing a lot of guys too. So Kyle Shanahan, to me, in this pie, Chris, I feel like he's got to get at least 40%. And I want to give him more, but I think 40% feels fair to me. As we go now to Brock Purdy and some of the underthrown balls that he had, according to Tom Brady, not me. This is the GOAT here talking about it, and how much Brock Purdy should be a part of the blame pie. Here is Brock Purdy on dealing with the injuries and whether or not he feels like he has to be Superman missing some of his guys.
You kind of feel the responsibility when you don't have Christian, Brandon, and Debo in the middle, in the game, that you've got to do a little bit more?
I mean, I don't really think that. All I think about is, what my job is, going through my reads, trusting in Kyle's play call, and hitting the open guy. I think there was many opportunities tonight or in this game where I could have been better, and so that's just how I feel. Is there more pressure for me to put on a Superman cape and do more? No. I think who we have and the players that we have that step up in those positions, man, they've done a great job, and we have a lot of talent in my eyes. So that's on me, and we'll just all continue to grow and fight on this journey together.
I got Brock at 30%, man. He did not play well.
I think he needs more. I think we just kind of have the same helping of pie for Kyle and Brock. I put him more 40, 50%. I mean, I think when you turn the ball over 3 times on the opponent's side of the field, you have a really bad interception that Grant Cohn kind of alluded to, and the red zone like that, where, yes, he was definitely hit and the ball didn't go where he wanted it to, but just kind of felt like even if that throw would have been uninterrupted, it probably would have just been a really, really tight window squeeze throw to, I think Cone even said it there, to Chris Conley. Like, I don't know if that's necessarily, and I know that's the options that they're given with everybody out, but just didn't really feel like the best decision, especially in that time, like to look at it on the opposite end. And I know people have criticized Brock for scurrying around too much, but Patrick Mahomes ran that in on the other side of things. On that exact same situation at the goal line, Patrick Mahomes just ran it in, and that's where he runs over Malik Mustafa, or Malik Mustafa. I really feel like that's really the moment where I felt like, yeah, Brock, you're definitely playing a really big part in this as well. We've seen him have these big turnover games before, and it just feels like this Niner team cannot afford to turn the ball over. Part of what made Brock so good when he was rolling is that he wasn't turning the ball over, and we just haven't seen that this year really much at all. He's been much more of a gunslinger this season than it feels like he was in the past.
We get on certain teams for busts and bad picks, and Bill Belichick is everywhere nowadays. We know that the Patriots, they could not draft wide receivers. They just couldn't do it. But, Chris, I'm looking at a guy as we talk about Chris Conley and who was getting targeted. Sky Moore with his first reception on the day. Chris, do you remember?
That was his first reception of the
season. Chris, do you remember? He got drafted in 2022. I just had to double check. In the second round.
Yeah.
I mean, he has been a huge bust for the Chiefs, and they've kind of just hung around just because. And that
Same with Hardman, too.
At least Hardman can do some things in the Super Bowl. Sky Moore is terrible, and they've actually powered through a situation where that was a complete miss. Complete miss. All right, Patrick from Hawaii, he wants to get into some positives for the Niners. And I guess the main positive is the game's over and you don't have to face the Chiefs again until the Super Bowl.
And you live in Hawaii.
If you get there, and you do live in Hawaii. So what's time? What is it? It's 8 a.m. in Hawaii, Patrick? What's going on? 916-339-1140. What's up, Patrick?
Yeah, y'all. Yeah, it's good morning, y'all. And look, the best thing about Monday is we play the Dallas Cowboys.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Dude, dust off yesterday. We're moving on, right? We're moving on.
It's a good palate cleanser.
And we get good healthy reports from camp all the way leading up to Sunday.
Yeah.
And that's where our second showdown. This is they say this is their Super Bowl. Well, go ahead. They can start planning what they want to say. It doesn't matter because we're coming out with that W, right?
There you go. Patrick,
There we
thank
go.
you.
I think they needed that.
Let's go.
Let's go.
They need that optimism.
One to the sky, guys. Let's go.
There we go.
Thanks for the call, Patrick. We got to get that played in the locker room in Santa Clara. Patrick is ready to move forward. And maybe that's the thing, right? Obviously, we're going to go over what went wrong for the Niners, and it's just day one after the game. But don't worry, we're about to turn the page here to Cowboys week. And you know what, guys, would it be crazy of me to knock on that door of the house that I always talk about with the half Niners, half Cowboys flag?
Yeah, it would be.
I could knock on it and say, "Hey, do you want to come on the show and just it's Cowboys Niners week? What are your thoughts?"
Are you expecting you knock on the door and they go, "Oh, it's Alan Stiles. He's at our door."
Hey, you've been talking about us.
Yeah.
Yeah, 916-339-1140. If you live in that house with the half Niners, half Cowboys flag, call it. This is your week.
Do you think the wife is Cowboys or Niners? Or do you think
I think the wife is probably Niners. I just got a feeling.
Maybe it's like a father-son too, but the father would never let. Yeah, the father would never let. Yeah.
No flag for father-son. No way. That's got to be your partner, your partner in life right there, your life partner. Look, you're going to turn the page, and I'll say this: the one thing from Patrick, as far as the reports, the injury reports, we're all waiting to see what happens with Brandon Aiyuk. But I can tell you this much: he's not playing
on
against the Cowboys. So you're not going to have Brandon Aiyuk. You should have Debo back. All right, and then you go from there. I think the Niners should still be able to beat the Cowboys even without Brandon Aiyuk, as long as you get Debo back. Got to see what's going on with Micah Parsons. Every time I see Micah Parsons, he's recording a podcast. So we got to see when Micah Parsons is going to be back. Obviously, the Cowboys, they didn't lose this week because they didn't play this week. So we will start to move forward, but, you're not going to get off that easy, all right? Niners fans, you lose against the Chiefs, and now you just want to just move forward. It's the day after the game. Got to lick the wounds of what happened. But it is time to move forward. Where do the Niners go from here? We discussed the upcoming schedule, and could the seat actually be starting to get warm for one Kyle Shanahan? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Live and local.
With everything 49ers.
Intercepted by Fred Warner. Dives for the end zone. Touchdown! San Francisco! Lob ball. George went up and caught the ball. Touchdown!
The 49ers play on Sacktown Sports 1140.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
Giving away tickets to see Sam Morril return to the Crest for a night of nonstop laughs. And, of course, Sacktown Sports wants you in the building. That is at 12:30. 12:30. Crest Theater in beautiful downtown Sacramento next May, courtesy of Live Nation. For more information, visit sacktownsports.com. 12 o'clock hour, we will get into the expectations for the Kings because the Kings, look, there's one thing to look forward to. I saw this, Chris, and I'll read off what's going on, I guess, in Northern California, not just the Bay Area as far as the teams are concerned. But it's a tough time right now. It's a tough time if you are a fan of some of these Northern California teams. And you can make the argument, Chris, that the Kings have the most upside out of all the teams. I guess we can have a conversation about the Niners. Out of all the teams in Northern California, who has the most promise right now? It'd be crazy to say it, but it might be your Sacramento Kings. As we discuss where the Niners go from here, here's the upcoming schedule, Chris, just as far as the teams are concerned. They get the Cowboys, the Bucks, the Seahawks, the Packers, and the Bills. That's quite the gauntlet. Very, very interested in what's going to happen with the Bucks-Ravens tonight. We'll see. This is another kind of fraud watch game for the Bucks. Bucks have done a really good job of taking care of business against teams that they're better than. Mm-hmm. But can you beat a team that a lot of people don't think you're at that level? So is this Baker Mayfield run offense, how legit are you? Because the Ravens, they'll give up some points now, and they'll give up some points at the wrong time. So we'll see what the Bucks are able to do. But, the Cowboys, we just kind of discussed them. The Bucks, just talked about them. Not worried about the Seahawks. But I'll tell you this much, Chris, your NFC North brethren, the Packers, who I got this one wrong. I thought the Texans would be able to take care of business. Green Bay Packers, they win on a field goal. I mean, Jordan Love, that guy just really does not care, man. He's going to throw picks. To me, that is a gunslinger. That's an overused term. That guy will just throw the football. He really just doesn't care. That it is a journey every time Jordan Love is under center for your team. But I'll tell you this much, it's exciting. Then after that, you get the new look Bills, who the Bills struggled a little bit against, not even Mayo Man, but Mason Rudolph and the Titans, but they were able to figure it out. Amari Cooper scored a touchdown, and he didn't even know what the play was, okay? You had Keon Coleman tell him what the play was while they were at the line of scrimmage, and then he scored a touchdown. So the new look Bills did eventually get rolling. I mean, Chris, these next games, you're looking at a Niners team who's 3-4. These next 5 games, Cowboys, Bucks, Seahawks, Packers, Bills, I think they still own the Cowboys, so I'll give you that win. The Bucks, I truly have no clue. I know that Brock Purdy has historically played well against the Bucks. I need to see what happens tonight, but I'm probably leaning towards the Niners there, and I'll take the Niners against the Seahawks every day of the week. So I'm looking at, and then 2 losses, just to not be a complete homer, to the Packers and the Bills. I'm looking at 3-2 the next 5 weeks, or 6 weeks with the bye as well. And now the question is, number one, can they do that? And number 2, is that even good enough at this point in time?
It's definitely good enough for sure. I mean, the Seahawks are only 1 game above them, and if the Niners beat them in the head-to-head, they'll have both of those wins in their back pocket, and I think that should all but pretty much seal the division as long as they take care of business the rest of the way after that. If they really do go 3-2 and they find themselves at 500 after that stretch of games, I mean, that's definitely super doable, especially with how the Seahawks have played this year. It feels like that offense is kind of starting. Geno was really good through 3 weeks. I think he still leads the NFL in pass yards through 7 weeks, but it does feel like the wheels have kind of fallen off a little bit there. I think they should be fine, but it's a really, really tough gauntlet that they have ahead. And I think the problem for the Niners is making the playoffs doesn't matter. That's not what this season is for. It's for playoff success. And that's the part where I think that it's never been in more doubt than it is right now. It's just, where's the benefit of the doubt? And that's what I said is, I feel like if the Niners lost this to the Chiefs, I do think come playoff time, they do lose the benefit of the doubt of, they have another level to go to. Ooh, they can flip the switch if necessary. It didn't look like that last night. It didn't look like it yesterday. And I kind of feel like, they'll make the playoffs, but once they get there, I mean, it's really going to be matchup dependent. If they go against the Packers again in the playoffs, if they go against the Lions in the playoffs, I kind of feel like both of those teams could definitely beat the Niners on their best day, and I kind of think the Lions can beat them on an average day. So it's really about where they end up landing when they do make the playoffs and who they end up playing.
Yeah, after the Bills, they get the Bears, who I'm not going to well, I'll say this. Maybe I'd be spicier if it was in Chicago, because that game's December 8th.
Yeah.
But it's in the Bay.
Yeah.
So unless there's some rain going on, I'm going to go with the Niners, even though that Bears defense has been really good. I'm going to go with the Niners there. Rams at Niners. I just think the Niners, well, number one, they have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder because they just lost to the Rams. So I think the Niners take care of business there. They go to Miami. We have a report coming out when we get the top stories about Tua. Even if Tua's back, you got to go to that's a place you don't mind going. December 22nd is to Miami.
Might be raining, though.
Might be raining. It might
Probably
be raining,
will be raining.
but I'm probably giving the Niners that one. Lions, Niners, fine. We'll say the Lions take care of business there. And then the Niners head to Arizona, who Arizona tends to give them problems, but at least we know the Niners won't overlook them because they just lost to them. So I think they're going to get into the playoffs. It's just a matter of what exactly they're going to do once they get there. And if you look around, Chris, that's the problem. A lot of these teams where they're going to have to go, you talk about dome or no dome, they got to go to cold weather, right? And I know Brock played in Iowa, and it's not warm out there, but you look at the Packers of the world and some of these teams where they're going to have to go, even if they mess around, even if the Commanders mess around and get hot, and we have the Jaden Daniels and that rib injury, Commanders mess around and get hot. You got to go. That's still back east, right? So this is not what the Niners had drawn up at the beginning of the season, and you got to be able to adapt. From the 916, Chris, our guy Esteban, can't wait till the Niners or till the Cowboys blow out the Niners. The world will flip out. I thought he had said the Niners blow out the Cowboys. I just can't see that happening. If that happens, then I do think the season's cooked. That means that something is wrong. And at that point in time, we probably will have discussions about the seat getting warm for Kyle Shanahan. I just don't see it happening, Chris.
It can. I mean, there's the Cowboys are just as hungry to turn their season around as the Niners are. And, we know that the Cowboys probably hear a lot of the rivalry talk or lack thereof being a rivalry with those two because the Niners have dominated them so much. It definitely can happen. It's not likely with how the Cowboys defense has played, especially in their last game. I mean, you should believe that the Niners offensively are going to be good enough and can be able to string plays long enough to where they should be able to handle the Cowboys, but you never know. I mean, it's going to be a big stage, bright lights. The Niners aren't playing how they normally will play, and crazy things can happen, but absolutely. I mean, especially when you look at the schedule that they have ahead from them, they have to beat the Cowboys. If you lose to the Cowboys, you then make that Bucs game pretty much a must win, or else you're sitting possibly at 3-6, 3-7, possibly with the Bills the week after that. You really need to start putting yourself in a good situation. I'm sorry, you have the Seahawks after that. You really need to start putting yourself in a good situation to where that Seahawks game, I think ideally you want it to be kind of like what it was in the first matchup where you win that game, you're then in first place and in control in the division. Anything less, and I think it is maybe time to start questioning what happens. But, I mean, realistically, it's a cliche, but the Niners really need to take things week by week and really focus on the game plan in the matchup that they have ahead of them, because you start looking forward and next thing you know, it might be 3-6, 3-7, and there's nothing to look forward to.
Could the seat actually be getting warm for Kyle Shanahan? And where should Nick Sorensen fit in this blame pie? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
Got a handoff to McCaffrey. He walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey. Takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown. CMC.
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports.
It's Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, and guess what? Primetime football is back. Capital Casino's giving away $500.
Come in and get a free pair of OS First Performance socks. Free. Normally a $25 value at the Good Feet store.
Toyota's legendary truck event is on. Hurry in for $2,000 cash back on any 2024 Tundra, or choose a great lease on a new 2024 Tacoma 4x4. Get to your Toyota dealer today, because this truck event will be Toyota. Let's go places. Offer available to TFS to buyers with premium rated credit until 11/4/24.
Get ready for an incredible night as the iconic Little River Band hits the stage at the Nugget Casino Resort Grand Ballroom. Join us Saturday, November 16th at the Nugget Grand Ballroom for an unforgettable concert experience. You'll hear all your favorites in this must-see event of classic rock. The Little River Band live at the Nugget Casino Resort Grand Ballroom. For tickets and info, visit nuggetcasinoresort.com.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
An hour away from Sam Morrell tickets. He returns to the Crest for a night of nonstop laughs. And, of course, Sacktown Sports wants you in the building. Hit up the Folsom Lake Honda hotline in an hour. If you are listening on the Sacktown Sports app, switch on over about 30 minutes or so if you want a chance to win those tickets at the Crest Theater in beautiful downtown Sacramento next May. It'll start getting warm around that time, Chris.
Please.
Next May, as we ask a couple different questions. Nick Sorensen, he was under a microscope and then he wasn't under a microscope, and now it's okay, well, these guys just need to be better. I feel like he's kind of ducked some smoke, Chris, as it was getting hot. It's kind of cooled off, and I want to heat it up a bit as it pertains to what he's done for the team or hasn't done for the team. I just think the whole thing is a bit confusing as to how much is on him versus how much is on the players versus how much is on just the coaching staff as a whole. Because, again, you have a situation where the team defensively isn't what they have been in the past, and I think somebody has to take up for that. And if Kyle Shanahan, that's why you bring on Brandon Staley, if they were I think what it was, honestly, maybe they were willing to take a step back defensively because we were talking about paying Brock Purdy $60 million, and this offense was going to be good enough for them to take that step back. And that just hasn't happened. It just has not happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of I agree with you. I think it's been under discussed, under talked about, and I think Sorensen has kind of definitely flown under the radar in terms of flack, and I kind of don't think it really matters if it is on the players or him, because I think normally in situations people don't discriminate. It's just like, hey, you look, I don't care if you're the greatest coach in the world and your defense isn't performing, that's still a reflection on you. And yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people maybe are giving him the benefit of the doubt because he is in his first year, and maybe there is a deeper understanding that some of this is Brandon Staley and not him making all the calls, and maybe Kyle Shanahan even has a say in some things that are going on defensively. But I mean, yeah, the defense has definitely not been what it needs to be in order for them to compete at this level. To me, that's the one thing that's just the biggest difference in everything from what the Niners have done in the past. Like, people talk about the offense and, yeah, we'll have conversations about Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan's play calling and things like that. But the Niners have had the luxury of having a top 5 defense pretty much their entirety of their Super Bowl window, and now they're middle of the league in just about every stat. And I haven't even looked at some of the advanced numbers where I think they were dead last in the NFL in some of the EPA stats. And so I think that's the big thing that the Niners have to fix if they are going to be looked at as a true competitor or somebody who's going to contender, I should say. And I don't think it's going to change. Like, you can't just change your defense overnight. I think we see the talent that they have. They have some cornerstone pieces, but I think as a whole unit, the defense hasn't really shown me anything that makes me believe they're just missing tackles or it's something that can easily be adjusted. To me, it feels like that there just may not be enough talent completely to go around on that defense. And to me, it's the number one thing they have to fix.
And we didn't even get to this. They still had special teams issues.
Man.
In the second quarter, they allowed that 55-yard punt return.
Yep.
Where they just got dudes falling on the ground as they're attempting to make tackles. So there's still special teams issues.
Ronnie Bell was on the ground.
Ronnie Bell, this is from Matt Barrows. How did the 49ers allow a 55-yard punt return in the second quarter? 3 players fell to the ground during the return. Ronnie Bell, Tatum Bethune, and Demetrius Flanagan-Foles.
That second interception by Brock, too, that's on Ronnie Bell.
Kyle said it was on Brock.
No, Kyle Shanahan said
it was Kyle.
He said it was a bad throw.
Yep.
Brock said it was on Brock.
Yep.
Kyle said it was on Brock.
Aaron Rodgers would say it was on Ronnie Bell.
Ronnie Bell wouldn't be in the building.
That's true.
He would be gone. He would be locked out.
Gone.
But a lot of people first, and I do think that's interesting, right? First, you had people say, I'm going to assume. And you know what assuming does. But this is when the interception first happened. I'm going to assume that interception was on Ronnie Bell. Then Brock came out and said it was on me. And I had to read comments, Chris, of people saying, I think Brock is just taking up for Ronnie Bell because he's had a rough go. Then you had Kyle Shanahan say that was on Brock. So it gets to, is everybody covering for Ronnie Bell all of a sudden? Come on, man. He's not a perfect player, Brock Purdy. Nobody is.
Yeah, I think it was just that play specifically, I can understand why. Now, when somebody tells you twice, like you're saying, when somebody tells you, the players involved tell you, like, no, like it was a bad read, you should probably listen. But
right.
I can't understand, because especially in the moment, it looked like, and I think even Brady said, and Brady, again, was very open to criticize Brock Purdy, so it wasn't that he was trying to shill for him. Even Brady, I think, was like, yeah, you don't know if that's a miscommunication or if that's just an overthrow or if maybe Ronnie Bell did just kind of undercut the route. And so I understand why at the time there's some confusion, because I definitely thought, I just assumed it was Ronnie Bell's fault. But yeah, I mean, once the coach and the quarterback involved tell you, yeah, no, that's just on me, I think you have to listen and just accept that. Again, like you said, he's not perfect, and it was just a completely overthrown ball, and maybe it was a misread by him.
Yeah, when it was Brock, fine. But once Kyle Shanahan said, no, that was on Brock, that's when I said, okay.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't really know why. I guess
especially not for Ronnie Bell.
Right, I think it's possible, but I just don't really know why Kyle Shanahan would lie about something like that.
Especially maybe to ease, like you could have use that to ease Brock's bad performance. Like,
exactly.
Oh, no, that one actually wasn't on him. We'll give him a break for that. But no.
Yeah. No, that was not the situation. But, plenty of blame to go around, Chris. And the Brock Purdy conversation, I'll put it to you like this. And I have Brock in my top 10. I believe I had him top 7. There are games where guys just don't look good. It just doesn't look right. And I get it. I'm still paying Brock because it's what the market is, okay? The $55 million, whatever the case may be, because I do think Brock is better than Tua and better than Jared Goff. But yesterday was a game where the takeover aspect that you've seen from Mahomes and from Josh Allen and in a different way from Lamar Jackson, I was wondering if Brock was going to be able to tap into it, because let's not forget, he played really well in the Super Bowl. Same defense, okay, couple different parts, but Spagnuolo defense. But yesterday was just not a good performance. It was just there's no way to put it. I'm still paying him the money, but when it comes to his ability to take over a game, I don't know that you can count on Brock to take over a game as much as you would say that a Lamar, and I know, but he went to a Super Bowl. Stop. Lamar Jackson can take over a game more than Brock Purdy. Am I saying that Lamar is a better quarterback straight up? Probably. As far as the quarterbacking position, I think they both do things really well. But Lamar can take over a game in a way that Brock Purdy cannot. Josh Allen can take over a game in a way that Brock Purdy cannot. And obviously Patrick Mahomes. Okay, so that still puts him in my top 7, something like that. But yesterday was almost a, like I said, Chris, a levels to this conversation. And in every sense of the word, you had articles coming out saying Brock Purdy's been playing better than Patrick Mahomes. That is undeniable this season. Fine. Okay? But as that saying goes, Chris, a Chrysler 300 looks like a Phantom until a Phantom actually rolls up. And that's what we saw yesterday. Patrick Mahomes is that dude. He didn't even play that well, but there are things that he's just able to do that Brock Purdy cannot. So let's just stop with those conversations as far as Brock Purdy and Patrick Mahomes. I know people were trying to keep into the context of this season, and I understand that. But you then something like yesterday happens, and now you just look stupid. So let's just not do that anymore. Okay? I'm not saying you did, but it's just there was a clear difference, and Patrick and neither of them actually played that well.
Yeah, Mahomes has actually had a really bad season, so I do think it's fair to compare the two. But yeah, I mean, I think it gets a little bit sticky. Patrick Mahomes, for what it's worth, 6 touchdowns, 8 interceptions this year so far. So it's been a very bad season, especially
the
from
defense
Patrick Mahomes.
has been winning games for that.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Brock is necessarily in those top 4 conversations of the Mahomes and Lamar and Josh Allen and those things, but. Yeah, you clearly saw that there's a different level to it, and it's like you said, it's not even like Mahomes really set the world on fire, but when his team needed a play, he created it. It was him, and nobody I think thinks that Brock Purdy is necessarily at a Patrick Mahomes level, but I do think it comes into the new contract that he's going to get, where, like you said, you would like him to be able to take over a game. Now, maybe not against the Chiefs. Maybe that is too high of an ask, but I think at some point here, especially with at least one receiver out, it seemingly for a lot of these games, feels like you would like Brock Purdy to win some of these games by himself. But then again, I also think Niner fans can't really decide what they want because Brock Purdy starts doing things by himself, and then all of a sudden he's not following the offense. He's just being a Kyle robot. And then we have callers like TC earlier who says, see, this is what happens when he follows Kyle Shanahan is he throws 3 picks and he's not playing loose. He's not playing free. So, I think that it definitely plays a factor into his next contract. But like you said, I think he's getting that contract regardless. And it's just going to be more and more highlighted when he is making that money. Nights like days like yesterday, I mean, you don't have to win them all, but I think you would just like to see a better showing from somebody who you're going to give that kind of money to.
925, Baker is better, Goff is better. Again, these conversations go from better or playing better. I'll give you this, 925. Baker goes out and balls out tonight. Let's have a conversation. And I know Goff just played pretty darn well yesterday as well. Let's see what Baker does tonight. And I'm willing to have that conversation about right now, because that's what we do with Brock when he's playing well. Who's the best or who's playing the best right now? But on the other side, we go around the NFL. Rex Ryan sounds off on his old team. You talk about Brock taking accountability. Well, that's something that Aaron Rodgers simply doesn't do. We have your injury tracker. And Tua speaks on the future of his career in the NFL. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
The garage won't open again.
We're all out of coffee.
Life has enough surprises. Your car shouldn't be one of them. Stockton Honda keeps your car worry-free. From routine maintenance to that something's not right moment, our certified Honda experts know how to fix it right the first time.
Here you go, ma'am. You're all set.
Thank you.
Stockton Honda Service Department, keeping you ready for the road ahead.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com. Thunder, feel the thunder.
It ignites
ignites something inside of you. Sets alight an elevated state of being. Days are pure exhilaration. And the nights, they're simply electric. See it, hear it, feel it.
Feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double hot, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Hey, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Well, I do now.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
Did you say you're cutting me off?
You earn We Match. Unlimited cashback match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
Did you know that replacing garage doors is the biggest return on investment homeowners can get on improvements? Jason Ross here, and let me tell you about the Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, a family-owned and operated company with third-generation owners that's been in business for 71 years right here in Sacramento. With new garage doors from Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, you'll not only get the wow factor, but you'll also know that you're working with a well-respected and proven company. Residential and commercial, brand new garage doors, or repairs to existing doors, they do it all. Take advantage of their free at-home estimates on new garage doors or check out the showroom with no appointment needed. And while you're at it, mention me, Jason Ross, or Sacktown Sports and receive $100 off a new garage door paired with a new garage door opener. Check out their website at ohdsac.com or call them at 916-421-3747. Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, the genuine, the original overhead door. Always look for the red ribbon logo.
Hi, this is Greg Papa. Disasters hit every day. If your home, business, or building has suffered from any disaster, SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to and letting your focus be on what's most important, your family or your business. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
DC here for Folsom Lake Kia, where they make car shopping easy with a huge selection of new Kia models, low payments, and zero down deals with approved credit. Folsom Lake Kia, your trusted dealer in Folsom for over 25 years. FolsomLakeKia.com.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
The 925. I'm not a hater of Purdy. They have open about $55 million in cap. Draft Milroe, Ward, etc. Get the weapons all healthy. Spend that cap space on the O-line. bring Salah back and get after it next season.
Now that is the hottest take. I will not speak on the quality of the take, but that is the hottest take.
I don't even know where to start. First of all,
it's dumb.
You might
First off, you did not watch Alabama, Tennessee.
Well, I was going to say, you might be able to get Milroe. I was going to say, how are you going to get Cam Ward? Because you're going to have to keep losing. You might be able to get Milroe if he drops, Jalen Milroe, that is. Giving up on, you're essentially giving up on Purdy. That's just not going to happen, okay? It's not going to happen, but we do love a good hot take, so we appreciate that.
I will say the process is nice. I do like now no NFL team would ever have the stones to do it, but if you want to be smart, that's not a dumb route.
No.
It's just nobody's going to have the stones to do it.
Well, that's essentially what Bomani said last season, and I can't recall the quarterback that he said they should take, but basically if you don't think Brock Purdy is a straight up dude, then don't pay him, because you've had success with the Jimmy Garoppolos of the world.
Yeah.
Right? So you can go on and you can find somebody else, but I think the Niners have told us time and time again, they think Brock is elite.
Yeah.
It's not that he's good for the system. It's not that he's this. He's not that he's that. They think that they found an elite quarterback. And look, he has shown it at times. I think the other thing, Chris, from what we've seen and how tough quarterback play has been, you can't do this because the chances of Milroe, Ward, et cetera, being as good as Brock Purdy, you have no clue.
Right.
You have no clue. Do I feel
it's a big
like
risk, yeah.
Do I feel like Cam Ward or Shador could be as good as Brock Purdy? I feel like that.
Yeah.
But are you willing to take that risk? Nobody is willing to
Not
take
with your
that
job
risk.
on the line, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. 916, and we see you, Casey, about to get to you. I'd rather see the Niners tank the rest of the season than make the wild card as some 8-9 team, which is a crazy thought to me.
Roll or bust.
916, because the NFC isn't that strong. This is the year for the Niners to be weaker.
But they aren't strong.
No, but they aren't strong. But I'm saying anything can happen if you get healthy in the playoffs. I get what the 916 is talking about if you're the Raiders. Because you did beat the Ravens,
just
but
be their plan.
Right,
Yeah.
but you're not beating the Chiefs. You're not beating the Ravens, even though you beat them in the regular season. You're not beating any of these teams if you sneak into the playoffs. The Niners can. I think they could. They've beat the Lions before in the past if they get healthy. But you're right, 916. If you're limping in, and if Jacob Cowing and Ricky Pearsall have great seasons, then maybe just go ahead and do something that they've done before. That's how they got Nick Bosa, right? That's how they
100%.
That's how they got some of these guys. So I hear you, 916, but I don't think that's happening either. I think they're going to be just good
they'll
enough.
be fine.
916-339-1140. Let's get to KC, who wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, KC? You're on Stiles Watkins. What you got for us?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
So first I got to start off by saying I'm probably one of the biggest Jimmy Garoppolo fans out there.
Okay. Very important disclaimer.
But I want to throw these numbers out there because I'm starting to think that Brock Purdy is more of a system quarterback as was Jimmy Garoppolo. Because when you look at the numbers, when Jimmy Garoppolo was with the 49ers, he had a 69% win percentage as a starter. Brock has a 71% win percentage. They're both 4-2 in the playoffs. They both have Brock has a 2.6% INT percentage. Jimmy had a 2.7 INT percentage. Jimmy had a 67.6% completion rate. Brock has a 67.5. They both lost to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
They've both lost the NFC Championship. Neither one of them has done more than the other player. And, neither of them could perform big in any of the big games, and that was a knock on Jimmy. He can't get it done in the big game. Well, we haven't seen Brock get it done in the big game.
Let me
at this point, as a diehard Niner fan, I'm thinking to myself, there's no way on earth I'm paying Brock anywhere near even $50 million a year, because what has he done other than what has he done more than Jimmy to deserve that money? He's done nothing more. The numbers across the board, if you look at it, they're nearly identical for Jimmy's time, specifically starting as a Niners quarterback, and Brock's time starting as Niners quarterback. So what makes Brock more elite? I don't know. To me, it's all the system, and we could plug someone else in there and not pay him $60 million a year.
Let me ask you this, KC, real quick. That game last season, the NFC Championship game. Be honest here. I know you're a Jimmy Garoppolo guy. That game when they got down like that much and Brock was using his legs and he brought that team back, do you truly think that Jimmy Garoppolo would have been able to come back the same way Brock did last season in the NFC Championship?
Against the Lions?
Against the Lions, yeah.
No, probably not. But that's just one game. I mean, that's one game. I'm probably going more off. Yesterday's performance was probably as bad as we've seen Brock.
Yeah.
But the game before was also pretty bad. When he's been having a lot of tipped passes at the line lately, which scares me.
Yeah.
Because I know he's not the tallest quarterback. He's only about 6 foot. And it seems like he's regressing more than he's progressing at this point. And at this point in his career, being a younger quarterback than Jimmy was, he should be progressing as instead of regressing. And I'm seeing regression instead of progression. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Like at first I was on the Brock train, but now just I don't know. He doesn't seem like he's that guy. Like he's a solid quarterback. But
Thank you. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. Had to get KC there. I think we got it. Look, I'll put it to you like this. We could live in a world. The problem is, you know what, Chris? It's kind of similar to the De'Aaron Fox conversation in a way. It's not about paying De'Aaron Fox $345 million and whether or not he's worth that. That's just what the market is.
Yeah.
Okay, Brock Purdy.
He's not accepting under $40 million.
No.
So if you're saying you don't want to pay it, then you're not having Brock Purdy as your quarterback.
Yes, you are moving
on.
This isn't a situation where it's Brock. We think you're worth this.
It's not a negotiation, really.
And again, these are other dudes. These are other guys that have done less than Brock so far, and we can compare what the rosters look like. But again, you can't have Tua making $53 million, Trevor Lawrence making $55 million, Jordan Love making $55 million.
How much is Kyler making?
Justin Herbert making $52 million, Kyler Murray making $46 million because he got his deal sooner.
Right.
Jalen Hurts making $51 million. Yeah. So again, you want to move on from Brock. Let's not talk about the contract. Let's just say you want to move on from Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to come in and say, hey, Brock, I know this is what the market is, and I know that you have better stats than all these guys, and that you've done things in the postseason that these guys haven't done, but we're just not going to pay you that. Mm-hmm. Here you go. That's not going to happen. I mean, Daniel Jones making $40 million. Yeah. All right. So, and as far as the Jimmy Garoppolo thing is concerned, look, we can say that Brock Purdy isn't as good as Patrick Mahomes, and you could even say Josh Allen or whatever, but you can't tell me, KC, that when you watch the numbers are the numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
And you brought up an NFC Championship game. Nate's saying we got to go, we got to go. You brought up an NFC Championship game where Brock needed Tommy John. He didn't finish the game.
Yeah. He also pretty much, to your point, I think you brought it up, but he pretty much won that Lions game too.
And he won the Lions. So he played well in the Super Bowl. Yeah, he plays well in the Super Bowl. They got to the Super Bowl because of Brock, and you're comparing the NFC Championship losses when Brock, his arm would look like a noodle. His arm looked like a
not relevant,
chow
but
mein
I feel
noodle.
like Brock doesn't miss Emmanuel Sanders either.
Yeah,
and that's kind of the point.
You're not going to Jimmy Garoppolo. You're not going to convince me. We've done the thing where any quarterback can do the job, and Trey Lance is a third stringer right now in Dallas. So that just simply isn't the case. Let's get to the hardwood. Expectations for the Kings and Northern California sports are kind of down bad right now. Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SacktownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and The Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, The Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SacktownSports.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Model Year End pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the Model Year End event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
There's no need to be scared of auto maintenance this October. Your local Jiffy Lube has just the treats you need without the tricks, like fast oil changes or wiper blades for the upcoming rainy season. Serving greater Sacramento area customers since 1984 with over 30 convenient locations to choose from. Open daily, early at 7:30 and open past 6 p.m. at most locations. Just visit jiffylube.com to find a location near you and valuable coupons to save money too.
Hey, Marvel movie fans, the Esquire IMAX Theater in downtown Sacramento is now serving adult beverages. Playing this week, Venom, The Last Dance, the IMAX experience.
Everything will end.
The best theater to experience Venom's action-packed finale is the Esquire IMAX, with its 6-story screen and heart-pounding audio.
There comes a time in every man's life where you have to make a sacrifice.
Be the first to see Venom, The Last Dance. Grab your great seats today at IMAX.com/Sacramento.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
Carmichael Dave here from my good friends at American Energy. Cool weather, if not cold weather, is in our future. You know that. It'll eventually get there, and American Energy wants to make sure your system is operating safely and properly. So now is the time to take advantage of the $49 fall tune-up inspection. That's regularly $119, but includes a full safety and duct inspection. And if your system's over 10 years old, it's free. The tune-up is on American Energy. Give them a call right now. They're offering $50 off your first recommended repair, or if you need a new furnace, that's half off the price of a new unit. American Energy been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You can check them out at theaeway.com for an instant quote. That's theaeway.com. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
The Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is the only store in the world to be named a top 100 shop for 40 years straight. Yes, the only golf shop in the world. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is your unsurpassed spot to find the hottest golf gear, best pricing, and elite expertise. Try any club on the shelf on the driving range for free and let our staff show you everything you need to look and play better. You love golf. The Hagen Oaks team loves golf too. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue at Business 80. Learn more at hagenoaks.com or 916-481-GOLF.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
KHD HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140.
Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
"30 minutes away, giving away Sam Morril tickets. He returns to Crest Theater in beautiful downtown Sacramento next May. We're going to give away those tickets at 12:30. 916-339-1140. As we take a break from the NFL to discuss the Kings, as we are, Chris, just a couple days away from the Kings tipping off their season, and really the expectations for the Kings are, I would say, starting to pick up here. Preseason is not going to rain on my parade. I still think the Kings are going to be a darn good basketball team, and there are a lot of reasons to feel like that. And I wanted to bring this up, Chris, and phrase it in this way, right? Because there are a lot of teams in the Northern California Bay Area, and this is what we're dealing with right now. The Niners obviously have a losing record. Christian McCaffrey out. Brandon Aiyuk, we think, might be out as well. Season isn't looking great, all right? Giants fire their GM. Now they have Buster Posey, who still needs to kind of hire that GM. Buster Posey, president, baseball operations. Dodgers are in the World Series, and the Giants just can't really seem to land one of the big fish free agents. The A's, we don't have to go into that detail, but the A's are in a transition period right now. They leave Oakland. They're headed to Sacramento. Better season than what a lot of people thought, but they are nowhere near the cream of the crop in Major League Baseball. The San Jose Earthquakes just had one of their worst seasons ever. The Sharks, they're in the middle of a rebuild, and their number one draft pick gets injured. The Warriors are on a senior citizen tour. And then you have Stanford football, who's been a bit of a mess, and Cal, who has given us some good moments, but they're still working their way up as well. Which leads me all the way back around to the Kings, Chris, to say, do the Kings have the most promise out of all Northern California teams right now, or I guess the most hope out of Northern California teams right now?
I think it's still the Niners. I mean, the Niners still have Super Bowl hopes, and I think realistically their team is built more to potentially make a run than the Kings do. I mean, the Kings, we think, are going to be fun this year, but I think a lot of people think that the ceiling for this team is probably a healthy second-round appearance, and the floor for this team is potentially, I mean, I think Jason said it, like he can see them up as high as a 1 seed, and he can see them as low as an 11 seed. Like, I think there's a chance that this team also doesn't even make the play-in. So, definitely there's more optimism, and I think more people would lean towards the optimism side for the Kings, but I think the Niners still probably have the advantage of being, if you were to try and label who is the best team in specifically Northern California, because we know the Dodgers definitely have the California in a stranglehold right now, but I would say that it's probably still the Niners only because of how talented they are.
It's still the Niners, but I'm willing to say that it could shift, right? If the Kings get off to a hot start, which would mean they would actually have to win a basketball game, and let's say the Niners just continue on this path and, they lose to the Cowboys, or they split those first two games where they beat the Cowboys and lose to the Bucks, or they lose both games, or they beat the Bucks and lose to the Cowboys, one of the two. I do think that there would be some people that could have that conversation. Obviously, we could bring up the Warriors, but I think the Kings have more promise than the Warriors this season, and we'll get into around the NBA. The Warriors just cash out Moses Moody, who is now, I think, a top 5 paid player on that team that Steve Kerr refuses to pay. So they've been a bit of a mess, and Kuminga looks like he's going to head to restricted free agency. I think that the Kings, at worst, they're second, Chris, which is, a little something to hang your hat on. I mean, maybe it says more about the rest of the teams in the area, but, the Giants of the world and teams like that, the Warriors still have Steph Curry, but I think that the Kings are, if it's not the Kings and it's the Niners, the Kings are firmly in second place here.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I mean, I think definitely if it's not the Niners, I mean, the other teams are in straight up rebuilds or are just playing terribly or relocating. So absolutely. I mean, the Kings are at least building positively, and I mean, the Warriors feel like they're doing something, and maybe, you ask some Warrior fans, I know our signal reaches out to the Bay Area quite a bit. Some of them might say that, the Kings or the Warriors are building at least more veterans, and maybe they won't be the top end talent, but they believe that, again, just get them in the dance and they can compete at the same level. I think the Kings just are still such a big unknown. I mean, I think I definitely hope that DeMar DeRozan's going to come in and make this team a lot better, but, I think there still is the possibility that things are a little clunky, and who knows? Maybe the preseason was a sign of things to come. I think it's a possibility, but I definitely think the Kings, momentum-wise and I think vibe-wise, definitely feel like they're the best. But I think Warrior fans still believe that they're holding on to something that they probably think is just as good, if not better, than what the Kings have, only because of Steph. I seriously think that the Warriors really do believe that they are competing at the same level as the Kings.
We've brought this up when it comes to trade pieces, and you've always said, hey, when it comes to Keegan Murray, I mean, not that you wouldn't ever move him, but he's really the best kind of young asset you have. And I would say that the Kings have more promise than the Warriors, but I also feel like the Kings should, based on where they're at. If you look at where the Warriors are at,
oh yeah, undoubtedly.
You have Moses Moody, who what his value is now, he has a contract attached to him. Jonathan Kuminga, who we still think has that high ceiling. What else are we going to do with it? Brandon Pajemski, as much as we joke about him, I do think he is well-liked throughout the league. Trace Jackson Davis as well. I knew that was coming. Trace Jackson Davis as well. The Warriors, they do have a future. They might think it's brighter than what the rest of us think, but they do have pieces. You look at this Kings team, if they don't make some type of run this season, Chris, and at least give themselves hope as far as, hey, we can get to that level and make a finals run, they don't really have anything to fall back on as far as their future, right? I mean, the Mason Jones and the Colby Jones of the world, those are all nice stories, but as far as their value, I don't think, I don't even know if you would put them in the conversation as sweeteners. So we're in a situation where the Kings do have the most hope, besides maybe the Niners, but they also should have the most hope based on the moves that they've made. And it's almost as if they're not all in, but at the same time, they need to show that, I guess there is a reason for them to be all in based on what they do this season. You missed the playoffs, and I don't really know what you do next.
Well, I mean, yeah, you could look at maybe moving on from, you move on from some of your big pieces, perhaps. I mean, it depends how bad the season goes and for what reason. I mean, if it's for injury's sake, then obviously you're probably just chalk it down to injuries and you'll say, hey, we'll give it a go next year. But, if it's guys not living up to their potential, if it's DeMar maybe not being as good of a fit, maybe you look to move on from DeMar DeRozan. You could probably still get something good, but I think that's that's getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. I think there's definitely paths. I mean, if they wanted to, if they don't play well and De'Aaron starts to signal that he's maybe not going to re-sign, you could look to move on from him. You could look at Sabonis. It doesn't have to be one of your young assets that you move on for, even though I think you could still get a really decent haul for Keegan. Keon Ellis is on a freaking amazing contract that I think any team in the NBA would want. I think there's plenty of maneuvers that this team could make if things go bad, but I think it would have to go really, really bad in order for them to really consider moving on from players. I mean, we saw that Mike Brown, there was a little bit of back and forth with those negotiations. As much as I would hate to see it, I think Mike Brown would probably be the first thing to go if the team doesn't meet expectations.
Well, we're not there yet, but this thing can escalate or de-escalate quickly if you don't get off to the right start. Let's take a trip around the NBA when we return. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The Beam Team plays here.
How many times I seen that beam lit up when I was chilling at home? What's the significance of pushing this button? Like I said, when it solves off.
We live and breathe Sacramento Kings basketball.
Live and local with the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys.
This is your home for the Sacramento Kings. Sacktown Sports 1140.
I'm Brian Tedesco, CEO of Blaupunkt Americas, the pioneers of the car stereo. Today, we're not just about sound systems. We are revolutionizing the e-bike scene with Blue Dot Bike. Thanks to AmericanEagle.com, our online presence now features a dynamic e-commerce website that showcases the quality and affordability of our foldable e-bikes. And our collegiate e-bikes, just perfect for the college fanatic. These e-bikes offer a new way to experience freedom on two wheels, no matter your age. When we needed a top-notch website to match our cutting-edge e-bikes, we turned to AmericanEagle.com. They made the impossible seem easy, tackling digital challenges like pros. Check out the Blue Dot Bike website to see AmericanEagle.com's amazing work in action. Need the best in website and digital marketing solutions? AmericanEagle.com is your go-to. They've been a game changer for us, and they can be for you too. Visit AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW-1. That's 877-WEB-NOW-1.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411th North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
.916 says, don't forget Devin Carter. That's a great point, 916. Don't forget Devin Carter. Love the pick still. We got to see what Devin Carter is able to do. But, yes, that would give the Kings somebody in that same conversation of, hey, this is what we are saying our future looks like, and someone who we believe is going to be a part of our team for a very long time. And that is why, in part, that Monty McNair, they were cool with still drafting him, even though they knew what was up with the shoulder and the injury, because this is not just for this season. This is for the future of the team and what he's going to be able to do in the coming years. So that's a great point by 916. Sam Morrell returns to Crest for Night of Nonstop Laughs. That is in next May, but we are giving you an opportunity to win those tickets in 15 minutes. Okay, Nate, let's go around the NBA. It's time to go around the NBA, and let's start here, Chris, with a guy we were just talking about, Moses Moody, who is a guy that a lot of teams hate when he's on the floor, but luckily for these teams, he's rarely on the floor. He is not on the floor that much for the Warriors, and it seems as if the Warriors are using this opportunity, 3 years, $39 million extension, to basically make themselves have to play him, okay? You have to play him now because of the price tag that is on him and how important you think he is to this team moving forward. I'm looking here, Chris, quickly. Steph is making 55. Andrew Wiggins making 26. Draymond Green making 24. So as of right now, it might sound crazy, but you have Moses Moody as the fourth highest paid player on the Golden State Warriors. Anthony Melton with a one-year deal for $12.8 million. GP2's getting paid $9 million. Buddy Hield's getting paid $8.7 million. Kyle Anderson $8.7 million. And obviously Jonathan Kuminga, they haven't been able to figure it out. Jonathan Kuminga is probably going to go to free agency or restricted free agency, and they'll have a chance to match. What do you think about it, Chris? Moses Moody, $13 million a year. That's in the same range, crazy enough, as a Bobby Portis, Austin Reeves. Good move for the Warriors.
It's interesting for sure. I mean, yeah, they don't really play him. I think that this is kind of in the same thought as I would compare this to like the Max Christie signing over the summer that the Lakers did, where it's more so them trying to get value in the future. Like it's, hey, we're probably going to be playing Moses Moody heavy six-man minutes these next couple of years. If not this year, then definitely in the years moving forward. And we're banking on the fact that he's probably going to be more valuable when we actually are playing him than right now. So, it's a bit of a risk, but I think if you like what you've seen from Moses Moody, then you'll probably really like this deal from a Warrior perspective. And if you think Moses Moody is overrated and is actually a bust that the Warriors just keep trying to shoehorn in, then I think you think it's a really bad deal. I personally fall more so on I think it's a good deal sign. I think the Warriors, at the very least, can use this and package him in a trade and maybe get a bigger player packaged with Andrew Wiggins' contract or something like that. And he's still young, and I think a lot of people can convince themselves that he's still got something left in the tank.
It's a good point, Chris. But as far as, as a 14th pick, we're talking about what Killian Hayes. I think he got released again from the Nets or somebody like that. So I definitely I wouldn't put him in the bust category. I think it's if you're the Warriors, you're Steve Kerr. And look, we've heard people talk about it on player podcasts before. You're Steve Kerr. You're looking up and down that bench, and you see the like Sims. You see price tags on top of all these guys. Moses Moody being at $13 million a year. That's a better reason to have to throw him in. So it's a move that Mike Dunleavy Jr. kind of cooked up. We know Steve Kerr was probably in that conversation, but hey man, we're paying this guy $13 million a year. You're looking up and down the rotation, and this is a guy who he wasn't getting time on a team that was a 10 seed. So what are we actually talking about? Give this dude some playing time. Well, this guy won't have to complain for playing time. Trey Murphy agrees to a 4-year deal, $112 million, $28 million a year, Chris, for the Pelicans swing man. You like the move for the Pelicans?
It would have been nicer if they would have traded Brandon Ingram already. It's just, it's really confusing. I mean, you can't really figure out what exactly their future plan is because Brandon Ingram is just a big logjam in it all. I mean, it's very clear that they want to play Trey Murphy by paying him. I think it's maybe even hey, we promise you're in our future. It's just we have this massive roadblock in the way. It's really interesting, and it is. I do wonder if maybe them holding on to Brandon Ingram kind of ruins their season this year, and maybe it is more so about their future. Hopefully. And if Zion can stay healthy, I mean, that's really what that team banks on. Is if Zion's healthy, then they're going to be exactly where they were last year, if not better. But I think this year, with them not having any center, I mean, Herb Jones is playing center for them. Zion played as many games as he played in his entire career last year. And they add DeJounte Murray and again still have Brandon Ingram. I just feel like this team is a bunch of puzzle pieces that don't fit together.
Milwaukee Bucks star, this is from Sham Sharani. Chris Middleton is expected to miss Wednesday's season opener versus the 76ers, sources tell ESPN. Middleton is out to start the NBA season as he rehabbed from offseason ankle surgeries, plural. Bucks are cautiously progressing Middleton toward a return. The problem with these East Coast teams, Chris, they're all loaded, but none of them can stay healthy. You have the Bucks with Chris Middleton. You have the Sixers with Joel Embiid and Paul George was just injured. And it looked like Tyrese Maxey even got banged up. The East, to me, there are opportunities to take down the Celtics, but none of these teams they just can't stay healthy. And normally, if you read something like that, cautiously progressing somebody back, if it was anybody else in the league besides Chris Middleton, I would take Shams for his word, and not to say that that's what wasn't being reported, because I'm sure it was, but I just can't trust Chris Middleton and the Bucks to challenge the Celtics this season.
I mean, I think the Bucks are just way too old, and Chris Middleton. You want to talk about things that aren't talked about enough? Chris Middleton had surgery on both of his ankles this offseason.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like something that's gonna just go away, and throughout the season it's gonna be no problem. It sounds like both of his legs are compromised, and I don't see how that bodes well for an 82-game season. It's going to be a mess. I mean, last year they were already a mess, fired their head coach middle way through the season, bring in Doc Rivers, not really much of any difference. Giannis gets hurt in the playoffs. I mean, Giannis said it last week. We talked about it. I think he probably gets traded after this season because, the Bucks are a geriatric team. I mean, they got Brook Lopez at 36, Middleton coming off of 2 ankle surgeries, and he's one of the younger pieces of that core. And Dame Lillard didn't look like himself at all last year. I mean, we might have missed the window for the Bucks here. It might have been a really close, maybe more similar to the Nuggets window than we would have anticipated, with Giannis being one of the best young stars in the NBA. They got to figure something out, and it might be too late at this point. Like, I don't know if Chris Middleton is necessarily going to hold the same value that he would have held a year or two ago because of his injuries.
Bobby Portis, also 29 years old, so definitely not a team full of spring chickens. No. Well, Chris, speaking of things not progressing the way you would like, Mikal Bridges says he's been trying to fix his jump shot for 7 years, trying to get his form back to where it was at Villanova. He says, when I came out of college, I tweaked it a little bit. Then my second year in the league, I had the hitch, and I tried to build back from that. Bridges went 0 for 10 from 3 yesterday, or over the weekend, and is 2 for 19 in the preseason. Chris, it looks kind of like Kyle Anderson a little bit. But Kyle Anderson's been doing that. It looks broke. It looks broke, and I'm curious how much this is going to affect the Knicks, because the one thing about a shooter is that, and he says he's been trying to work on it for 7 years, so this isn't new, but it definitely looks worse than it did with Phoenix. So I don't know, man. Not to say that it's going to hurt, but it does change the dimensions and the dynamics of that Knicks team. You also had Josh Hart, who had a tough preseason. A lot of people were talking about Josh Hart offensively. I honestly think he's just regressing back to the mean. Every time Josh Hart had a crazy game in the playoffs, I was surprised. This guy could not score the basketball with the Blazers. So I don't really know what the Knicks are doing. Obviously, I think they're going to be a really good team, and maybe they went out and got Karl Anthony Towns because, hey, offensively, it's still kind of Jalen Brunson and the crew, so let's go out and get Karl Anthony Towns and see what happens there. And last but not least, Chris, your second favorite podcast behind Mind Game, Draymond Green's podcast, adds Baron Davis as a co-host. Are you more intrigued to watch the show?
No, not at all. Not at all. Now it's like somebody else can give their takes on Draymond's wild. Like, it's just gonna be the only thing that could have made this worse is like if Gilbert Arenas were on the podcast or something like that. I actually like Baron Davis's commentary, but I don't know what him and Draymond specifically are going to bring together. I imagine a lot of fire.
I do wonder if some of this is taking some of the onus off of Draymond.
And for sure.
Maybe he'll lead it, do things like that. So maybe that is.
It's only like a half-hour show anyway.
Right. So I'm going to miss Draymond and his mic in the hotel rooms after Warriors losses. Biggest surprise of the weekend for the NFL. You'll get my thoughts, Chris's thoughts, and Nate's as well. And we give away tickets to see Sam Morril. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Tesla, keeping it real tour. Saturday, November 9th, the venue at Thunder Valley. Tesla, live. The multi-platinum rock band returns with special guest, Fuel. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Tesla, keeping it real tour.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check your sunroof is closed first before driving through the car wash.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, no. Wait, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
What would it take for a plumbing company to earn your trust? Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers. And let's face it, plumbing and service companies don't always have the best reputation.
So to earn your trust, the first thing they'd have to do is actually answer the phone when you call with a real live person. Then they'd have to send a plumber when you needed them, day or night, without charging extra for emergency services.
A trustworthy plumber would show up on time, wearing a clean uniform and name badge, and be able to show that they had passed a background check and drug test.
A plumber you could trust would give you a firm quote on the job before starting and clean up after they finish the job.
That's exactly the plumber you'll get when you call Bell Brothers. A plumber you can trust. Call Bell Brothers right now for all your plumbing needs. Our number is 916-444-1234 or find us online at theNoSurpriseGuys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Golf.com's Josh Sens offers 5 common golf course maintenance mistakes and tips to correct them. You've hit the green, and to fix your divot, you jam your tool underneath the ball mark and lift the soil, but the right way is to circle the edges of the mark with your tool, gently pulling the turf toward the center. Second, when fixing divots in the fairway, fill it with sand until it's level with surrounding turf, and gently smooth it with your foot. Third, when the course imposes the 90-degree rule, it means to stay on the cart path until you can turn at a right angle to your ball, minimizing wear and tear on the turf. 4, when you're driving on the course, proceed at a modest pace and avoid staked and roped off areas. Avoid sharp turns, wet turf, bunker edges, tees, and greens. The superintendent will applaud you. 5, in a bunker, rake the sand smoothly and exit as you entered from the low side. Tap the sand from your shoes and leave it as if you weren't there. And now that you know, make sure your foursome knows as well. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
The shot clock is ticking, and your home team is driving up the court. But don't miss your chance to score big at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Save on a new Accord, HRV, Ridgeline, or the all-new Prologue before the buzzer sounds on year-end deals. Don't get benched by high prices. Slam dunk your savings today.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's L1 report.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411th North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Sam Morrell returns to the Crest for a night of nonstop laughs. And of course, Sacktown Sports wants you in the building. All you have to do is hit up Folsom Lake Honda hotline right now. Looking for caller number 3. Caller number 3 to score that pair of tickets. Check out Sam Morrell at the Crest Theater in beautiful downtown Sacramento next May. Courtesy of Live Nation. For more information, visit SacktownSports.com. 916-339-1140. 916-339-1140. 916-339-1140. Caller number 3. Got to be quick. Got to be quicker than that. Caller number 3. As we go around. Chris, I'll start because Nate's going to be handling the phones with this San Morel ticket giveaway. Biggest surprise of the weekend, I guess we could actually open this up to more than the NFL, but we're going to keep it NFL for now. I'm going to go here, Chris, with the Eagles smacking the Giants. I knew that Saquon was going to have a good game, and Saquon did have a good game, 176 yards, 1 touchdown. Obviously, it was a revenge game for him. But the way the Eagles just kind of seem to trick off situations, I didn't necessarily think that they would lose, but I didn't see them winning 28-3. So that was probably one of the more surprising things. And honestly, I know Nate thinks that I'm trolling, but honestly, I thought I thought it would be a better game than it was. But if I had to pick one, and we already kind of talked about the Niners, I'll say the Eagles taking care of business against the New York Giants.
This one isn't mine, but we just saw some news I just saw some news from Adam Schefter, and it could tie into somebody else's surprise. For what it's worth here, Adam Schefter is putting out that Dan Quinn just said that Jaden Daniels will be considered week to week with his rib injury. And I would definitely say that it's not my answer, but I think the Commanders still putting up 40 points even without Jaden Daniels. To have Marcus Mariota come in there, who literally looked like he couldn't throw a football last year. I mean, I didn't watch the receiver show, but I watched the quarterback show on Netflix, and Marcus Mariota was cut unceremoniously or left the team pretty much in that show. And I think last year, I want to say he was on the Titans. He was pretty much unusable. It might have been on the Eagles, but he's pretty much unusable last year. I think it was the Falcons. Yeah, he's been all around. Yeah,
he's on the Raiders for a hot second.
I definitely think that Marcus playing that well definitely deserves a shout. But my surprise, I actually have two, as that can be maybe a third one. I have the Vikings kicker, if I could, for a second here. The fact that the Vikings actually have a kicker who's not absolutely terrible, it's still, we'll have to wait and see, but Will Reichert hasn't missed a kick so far this year. He's only one of 2 kickers to not miss a kick and have 4 of those kicks be over 50 yards. He had a 57-yarder in the first quarter of that Vikings game, and just anyone who knows anything about the Vikings history knows that kickers are the sole reason why the Vikings do not have a Super Bowl so far, whether it's Gary Anderson, who didn't miss a field goal the entire year and then missed one to give them the a 10-point lead, would have been insurmountable in the NFC Championship game against the Falcons all those years ago, or it could be Blair Walsh missing a 25-yard kick or something like that against the Seahawks. The fact that the Vikings have a kicker that is actually making kicks, quite a concept, and I'm just waiting for the biggest moment of the season for him to finally miss. My actual biggest surprise of the season, or of the weekend, was the fact that the Colts, my guy Anthony Richardson, to barely, and I mean barely, beat the Miami Dolphins with Tyler Huntley. I have no choice but to be out on my guy Anthony Richardson. Wow. It's over. The fact that they were able to move the ball with Joe Flacco at quarterback, and now you see what it looks like with Anthony Richardson back there. Just not great. Not great for my guy, and I think he's just way more raw than I knew he was raw, but I think I thought that there would be more things that you could utilize and highlight his strengths, and it just feels like he's out there and he looks like a second, third string. Like, he looks like he's in the same class as Tyler Huntley right now.
129 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Tyler Huntley, 87 yards, 1 touchdown. Anthony Richardson, the leading rusher for his team, with 56 yards. Again, I don't know how sustainable that is either, Chris. And Michael Pittman Jr.,
our guy.
As you're talking, I do have a thought, okay? So, Alec Pierce, every now and then, he'll go deep, and Anthony Richardson will chuck it out there. And obviously, you got Shane Steichen, and that offense is supposed to start cooking here. Michael Pittman Jr., to me, Chris, who they just re-signed, he had 3 receptions for 63 yards. Yeah. He is how do I put this? He is a receiver for a different type of quarterback than Anthony Richardson. I think what they need to do is they need to follow, and it's funny because it's a copycat league, and this guy got injured, but Anthony Richardson much beefier than Jaden Daniels. They need to follow the very simple offense of, we're just going to chuck it, the Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, we're just going to chuck it deep, or we're going to run our quarterback. Just very simple things. I just feel like the Colts don't have an identity. And you got me thinking when you mentioned utilizing his strengths, and I just don't think they're doing that. Michael Pittman is one of those guys who is a technician. He runs routes. He's a possession guy, and I don't think that's what Anthony Richardson. You need guys like that, but you can move. I would move off of a Michael Pittman Jr., get you a burner in there, okay, and get a lesser version of Michael Pittman and get you a big tight end that he can throw to when he's on the run. Just doesn't feel like they have, before I give up on Anthony Richardson, just doesn't feel like they have the correct personnel. And, it makes sense because this is who, the Jalen Hurts offense, that's where Shane Steichen came from. So you would think that you would see more things like that, because I don't think Jalen Hurts is a terribly better thrower than Anthony Richardson, but something is off there, and I just don't know that they have and you can't get Jonathan Taylor healthy. That doesn't help either. Just feels like they don't have the correct personnel to utilize what Anthony Richardson is good at.
Yeah, I mean, I think that definitely Jonathan Taylor not being there is really tough. The fact that come on, like, they're relying on Trey Sermon. Like, that's enough said. Like, Trey Sermon got, I think, 3 carries with the Niners throughout his career, and I'm pretty sure all 3 were fumbles. And one, I think he fumbled and got a concussion on. So it just didn't work. I mean, it just didn't work with the Niners at all. There was no hope at all. I mean, they were. I think he was another one of those third-round running backs that just never ended up panning out for the Niners. And I don't know. I mean, the problem is I don't really – like, the things that Anthony Richardson is good at is his size and his utilization of being the Cam Newton-style quarterback, but he doesn't have the arm. He doesn't have the accuracy. He doesn't have the decision-making. And, I mean, really, I don't know what exactly those strengths that you would play off are. I mean, again, like, all of his strengths are his physical tools, but in terms of being a quarterback, I really don't know if I've seen much that makes me believe that he can turn this thing around, and it feels like they need so many weapons that I don't see how that transformation happens by the time he needs to figure it out.
When we return, we go around the NFL. Rex Ryan sounds off on the Jets not having pride, and Aaron Rodgers says, well, that's not my fault. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find Malik Monk is Sacktown Sports.
Oh my, what an athletic move that time by Malik Monk.
Hey Sacramento, it's Malik Monk, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned certified cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our certified cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home of the 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
Model year-end pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the model year-end event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to folsomlakehonda.com. Your one-stop Honda shop.
Don't let summer energy slip away. Live the active life you love year-round with a personally fit arch support system from the Good Feet store. Precision engineered to support all 4 arches. Good Feet puts your feet in a more ideal, comfortable, and pain-free position. And Good Feet arch supports are now HSA and FSA eligible. Book a free fitting at goodfeet.com or come in and get a free pair of OS First Performance socks. Free. Normally a $25 value at the Good Feet store.
Despite having no experience, Gavin Newsom made Jessica Morse his, quote, wildfire specialist. The result? Under Newsom and Morse, insurance rates and utility bills skyrocketed. Millions of dollars were slashed from the state's fire prevention budget, and they were even caught lying about their record, while millions of acres burned and families lost their homes. Now Gavin has chosen Jessica Morse again, this time to run for Congress. We have a better choice. Kevin Kiley. As our congressman, Kevin Kiley has worked across party lines to secure millions for wildfire protection and expand water supplies. And Kevin Kiley's bill to protect Lake Tahoe will bring up to $415 million home to our district to reduce the threat of fires and restore the ecosystem of the lake, delivering results and making a difference. Let's keep Kevin Kiley working for us.
I'm Kevin Kiley. I approve this message. Paid for by Kevin Kiley for Congress.
Jeff Lynn's ELO.
Mr. Blue Sky, Mr. Blue White.
Live in concert in Sacramento. The Over and Out Tour. Jeff Lynn's ELO. The final tour. All the hits. Live at Golden One Center, October 23rd. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
When an overwhelmed injury victim calls Ashton or Price, we immediately remove their legal burden and introduce them to the very best medical care in the region. They focus on their health, and we handle all the rest. When they reach the end of their medical journey and are reunited with happiness and hope, we unleash our decades of legal experience to obtain maximum compensation. We are real, local, experienced litigators, and snappy dressers too. Consultation's free, and there's never a fee until we win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
The next election is November 5th. Vote centers open October 26th. Remember to vote early and avoid the lines. Learn more at elections.saccounty.gov or call toll-free 800-762-8019.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
About to go around the NFL, and I know we already went around the NBA. Congrats to our winner, by the way, Sam Morrell. Nate, you got the name on the winner?
Yeah, our winner is David, who's pretty much my neighbor. We live in Antelope, really close to each other.
Wow. Shout out Antelope.
Yeah.
Shout out David. Congrats to you. You will have more chances to win throughout the week. Sam Morrell returns to Crest Theater in beautiful downtown Sacramento, and it will be beautiful next May, courtesy of Live Nation. So you'll have that opportunity. 12:30 tomorrow as well. But yeah, Chris, we're about to go around the NFL, but around the NBA, Jonathan Kuminga and the Warriors will not come to an extension agreement before today's deadline. This is from Anthony Slater. Per sources, he will enter his fourth season with a still unsettled future, but will be in the starting lineup on Wednesday night in Portland. So he wants to get paid, right? He definitely wants to get paid more than what Moses Moody got, and he wants to get paid that Franz Wagner type deal, who the Warriors could have taken as well in that draft. I saw that too, Chris, for Şengün and the Rockets.
Yeah,
kind of
Jalen Green
doing the same thing. Do you think the Warriors will regret this? I don't think Jonathan Kuminga will regret it because somebody will pay him. Do you think either side will regret not being able to figure this out?
I actually think Kuminga's more likely to regret it than the Warriors. I think the Warriors are right to not just blindly sign him just for the sake of keeping him. I think it's a bit confusing to try and figure out exactly how Kuminga fit. First off, how good is he? Mm-hmm. They should definitely know better than anybody. They've seen him every single day for the past couple of years now. They should have a good idea, but feels like, to translate it into actual games, I don't know if they even really know how good they think he can. Is he going to be? I mean, frankly, they need to start thinking about a post-Steph Curry era at some point. Do they think that Jonathan Kuminga is a good enough player to be a franchise player for the Warriors? I don't think that they're sold on that yet, and I think Kuminga, I guess you could say rightfully so, because these players are looking out for themselves and their future. He's saying, no, what choice do you really have? Pay me as much as possible, because you guys put me, I pretty much had to beg to get playing time last year and had to call out the coach publicly in order to get any sort of playing time or the respect I feel like I deserve. He probably feels like the Warriors haven't done great by him, and that paying him handsomely in the same way they just did with Moody is a way of them saying, hey, I know we haven't handled this perfectly, but we promise you're in our future. I get both sides of it, but I think more likely, and it's more so because I'm not super high, I don't know if Kuminga playing this thing out this season, it makes this season paramount for Kuminga to play well, or else I think a lot of people, especially in the open market, I'm not sure people are going to be willing to just throw whatever money they have available at Kuminga to be their sole big piece from free agency.
Yeah, both sides could have egg on their face. Jonathan Kuminga can have egg on his face if we don't know what the Warriors offered him. But if he goes out and what he ends up getting offered by another team is not what the Warriors initially offered him, that's the egg on his face. If he cooks and the Warriors get priced out and they're not in a position to where they can match or want to match, then they lose Jonathan Kuminga. And I think the most bizarre part of it was from the reports of Jonathan Kuminga being an untouchable. So you decided not to move Jonathan Kuminga, but you also decided not to pay him.
Yeah.
Now he messes around and is the most improved player or something like that, and now you can't afford him.
Jalen Green, as we spoke right there, just agreed to a 3-year, $106 million contract with the Rockets.
And we didn't think they were going to do that.
Nope.
The Rockets.
Nope. So they must have had a change of heart and felt like it was necessary. That's $35 million a year.
And I think Jalen Green, if I'm not mistaken, or not to say not mistaken, but I'd say more people know what Jalen Green is supposed to be than Jonathan Kuminga. That doesn't mean he's going to get there, but you know what his path is more than a Jonathan Kuminga.
Yeah, he's an inefficient scorer right now, but he's also so young. He's from the G League as well, like Kuminga. I think that there's just a lot more hope that Jalen Green could potentially be a franchise player. And, I think a lot of people have concerns about his defense and the inefficiency at which he shoots it at. But I'm like you said, I just know a lot more what Jalen Green is and what I'm signing up for versus Kuminga. If he never develops a jump shot, there's a chance that he is a version of Andrew Wiggins, just a very, very athletic three that is good and probably is a starter, but I think a lot of the time you're going to want a lot more from. And Kuminga has an opportunity. We've seen him work on his jump shot all summer long.
Andrew Wiggins is a much better shooter than Kuminga
He is right now. He is right now, and I think that's the part that Kuminga has to get to a league level, or else I really don't think he's going to be worth any sort of contract that looks like Jalen Green just signed.
Rex Ryan, as we go around the NFL. Rex Ryan is not happy with his former team. He sounds off on the Jets not having pride. The Jets, Chris, they lose to the Steelers, the new-look Steelers last night, even with Devontae Adams has, in the course of 7 days, has lost to the Steelers in 2 different jerseys. He lost with the Raiders, and he lost with the Jets as well. 37-15. They got smacked. Here's Rex Ryan on the Jets not having pride.
Responsibility. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? He's a winner. He's a winner. They take that responsibility on as players, all right? For me as a coach, why the hell you hire me? All right? Why? Because I'm going to create that culture. That team is more important than the freaking individual. That when the team wins, everybody wins. All right? It ain't about the name on the back. It's about the name on the front of the damn jersey. All right? Be proud to be a damn New York Jet. Right now, I don't see it. I'm proud to be Aaron Rodgers. I'm proud to be this guy. I'm proud to be that guy. How about be proud to be a freaking New York Jet? Where's the passion for it? And I think that starts from the top. All right? As a damn head coach. Bulls, I know this kid's thrown in there. He's way above his head. I get it. I get it. And is it hard as hell to be a D coordinator and a head coach? You're damn right it is. Okay? But, where is it? I've seen it. I'm worried about units. My units play. I always hear, well, our defense plays great. What? It's our team. And by the way, the defense needs, if you're that damn good, then win the damn game yourself. I don't see it. No. When are we going to come like this? When are we going to be like this instead of using one damn finger? Because I'm seeing a bunch of damn individuals. You hit it right on the head, D. Wood. Freaking unbelievable.
Wow. I don't think there's anything we can add to that.
No.
Why did they throw the music in so hard like that?
Because I was feeling it.
Yeah. They maybe needed to soften the blow. It was I can't imagine how awkward it is to be in a studio with 4 people in it, and this guy is just actually kind of crashing out a little bit.
Yeah. His veneers are just smashing together as he yells. His teeth are so white.
I wasn't even a Rex Ryan fan when he was a coach, but that's my kind of coach right there. You know? That is the kind of thing that I think, a team like the Jets needs. Is very clearly Aaron Rodgers is running that team, and I do think there is something to there being no actual leadership in the building, and it feels like it's the blind leading the blind, and that's literally what a head coach is for, is to be some sort of person who's just looking at the direction of the team and focused on things like that. And it does feel like at this point this is what happens when you lay in bed with Aaron Rodgers, though. Is things get really messy, and he has to have things his way or the highway. And you're seeing how it results when you trust and put all your faith in a 40-year-old quarterback.
Well, speaking of Aaron Rodgers, this is what Aaron Rodgers had to say after the game. And as we heard Brock Purdy taking accountability, Aaron Rodgers knows no such thing. Here it is.
How do you get everybody to keep the belief? I mean, it seems like a lot of the same mistakes.
Stop listening to you guys. Number one. Number two, got to be accountable, I got to play better. That's the key. I got to play better. Got to find a way to run the ball better so we can action pass. I thought did some nice things in the passing game. Brees obviously had a couple of really nice ones. Spread the ball around to Tay, G, and Allen. Mike had a nice conversion. But we got to run the ball better, and I got to play better.
Well, he did say I got to play better.
Did he just compliment Mike Williams? Wow.
He did say I got to play better.
KG and Mike.
Yeah.
In the morning.
Right. They're getting yelled at by callers. For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Tay-G.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
That show's unbearable.
Yeah, that's the next player pod that's coming up. I don't understand and it's so funny because the whole player, does he not think Pat McAfee, he goes on Pat McAfee. We believe that he probably gets paid.
He definitely $1 million gets paid.
To go on Pat McAfee. And I just feel like we're headed toward a weird area with athletes, and how it's just easy. It's just really easy to call out the media.
Yeah.
Aaron, please elaborate. What is it that we've been saying? If I was in New York, what is it that we've been saying, why you need to not listen to us? What is it that we've been saying which is making you play like garbage?
And if it is anything that's being said that's making him play like garbage, well, then that's pretty soft. I mean, I was actually just listening to Joe Mazzulla, my favorite coach of all time, talking about how, there's no pressure on the Celtics because pressure is something that's created by media. And if you choose to not believe that it's a thing, then it won't be a thing. And that's how the Jets and every professional athlete, frankly, should handle it. Why? I understand, it's hard to ignore, headlines that are right in front of your doorstep or on your phone or whatever, but it's just words. And, you're ultimately the one in control. If you play well, that changes the narrative. And I don't know. I mean, I think Aaron Rodgers is, it's political season. He's playing his political handbook there, and he's just blaming media and diverting the attention to that instead of actually focusing on what they can actually fix. So, whatever. Aaron, it's just Aaron being Aaron,
That's just what,
that's not my goat, that's for sure.
That's what it comes with. This is just what the situation is right now with Aaron Rodgers. Let's go here, Chris, to some of the injury tracking updates. So this is from the Buffalo Bills. Curtis Samuel, the Bills wideout, was ruled out due to shoulder injury he suffered in the opening quarter. The Buffalo's matchup with the Titans, so we are keeping an eye there. Cleveland Browns, obviously Deshaun Watson, Brown starting quarterback, suffered a non-contact injury with less than 2 minutes remaining the first half of the team's Week 7 matchup with the Bengals after being carted off the field. Browns officially ruled him out with an Achilles injury, and he has ruptured his Achilles. Dorian Thompson-Robinson playing in place of the injured Deshaun Watson. Thompson-Robinson was ruled out after he suffered an injury, a finger injury late in the game. Jameis Winston took over as the emergency quarterback. Detroit Lions, David Montgomery, the Lions running back, returned to action in the opening minutes of the second quarter after he was questionable to return to Sunday's action due to a knee injury. I got to say, again, this is my buddy, not me, but the prop talk for these guys when they're hobbling and they go in, they come out, I mean, that's just the killer. Just get out the game, man. Get out the game. And so after it was Gibbs the rest of the game. Again, it was a buddy of mine who decided to take David Montgomery, but we'll see what happens next with him there. Juju Smith-Schuster. They didn't even have Juju Smith-Schuster, Chris. The Chiefs wide out left the Chiefs Week 7 win early after aggregating a hamstring injury he had been dealing with and heading into the game. Head coach Andy Reid told reporters on Monday the veteran wideout will not play in Week 8 against the Raiders. They also lost Jalen Watson. Watson suffered a fractured ankle and could be out for the season. And the New England Patriots, the Las Vegas Raiders quarterback Aiden O'Connell fractured his thumb early in Week 7 against the Rams. He's headed to the injured reserve, meaning he will miss at least 4 weeks and possibly more. What a nightmare scenario for the Las Vegas Raiders. And as far as the Niners are concerned, still waiting to hear the official word on Brandon Aiyuk. DK Metcalf also suffered a knee injury for the Seahawks, but they believe it to be minor. And Jaden McDaniels, Chris, as you mentioned, considered week to week with that rib injury. It was just a weird looking collision. That's what happened on that one. Top stories at the top of the hour when we return. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-5795. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Grab the keys to a new Toyota and go apple picking. Go to a football game. Go ghost hunting. Or not. This fall, get a low lease on the sporty 2024 Corolla, adventure-ready RAV4 Hybrid, rugged Tacoma, and even the new all-hybrid 2025 Camry.
Grab the keys, come on, let's go.
Toyota, let's go places. Offer available to TFS buyers with premium rated credit until 11/4/24.
It's Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, and guess what? Primetime football is back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. As always, offering the best food, the best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. So check them out, Capital Casino, and always remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the ultimate lunch lineup boasts wall-to-wall sports and scenic views. When you're hungry and in a hurry, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch. I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
The first big sale of the year on the all-new 2025 Silverado is on at Maida Chevy. With $8,000 off MSRP after rebates, every new 2025 half-ton LT, RST, LTZ, and High Country in stock at Maida Chevy. And Maida Chevy has the largest selection of new 2025 Silverados in the Sacramento area. $8,000 off new 2025 Silverado at Maida Chevy. Now that's big, huge. MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers. Ends 10/31/24. Source internet search 10/17/24.
KHD 1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports 1140.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
It is time for the top stories at the top of the hour. And a lot of these stories kind of a I guess rollover from around the NFL, but a little bit more in depth, if you will. This is from Mike McDaniel, said the team is designating QB Tua Tagovailoa to return from injured reserve. Tua still needs to pass through concussion protocol, but he is tracking to play Sunday against the Cardinals. And Tua spoke with media. He said a couple things, Chris. He said it's a personal choice when he was asked whether or not he will wear a Guardian cap. So Tua will not wear a Guardian cap, and I don't think any quarterbacks currently do, but he will not be the first, if not one of the first, to wear a Guardian cap. This is what Tua had to say when he was asked about the people that worry about him playing this violent game. Here it is.
There are a lot of people out there that just worried about your health and making sure that you're okay, that are worried, hurt again.
I appreciate your concern. I really do. I love it.
Okay, basically he said that the decision is his, and really the craziest quote that he had on that, Chris, was he said, "I appreciate your concern. I really do. I love this game, and I love it to the death of me." That's it. That was literally what he said.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely don't want that phrasing, for sure.
Didn't love that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I'm not going to enjoy it. It's almost gotten to the point with Tua where it is reaching the Alex Smith territory to where I just don't want to watch. More so for my own squeamishness. Like, I can't bring myself to watch them get hurt knowing that what I know about their injury history. And, it was the same exact thing with Alex Smith, to where it's just every time he drops back, you're just hoping that he can get back up. And it is the same with Tua, where I just don't need to see it. And if he gets any sort of big hit, it's going to be the first thing everybody wonders at. Everyone's going to hold their breath. And, again, we don't want to tell these guys how they should handle their career, but it just reaches a point to where I think I can't imagine how his loved ones feel, because that's the part where if I don't have any horse in the race, I'm not a Dolphins fan, I'm not an Alabama fan, I'm not a Tua fan. I don't really care. They're just another NFL team. If I feel this way, I can't imagine how anybody who fits under those categories feels. And, I understand the team is absolutely terrible without him, but if the Dolphins don't try and address their quarterback depth past this season, then they're doing Tua and, frankly, the NFL watching audience a disservice, because they have to find a different solution at quarterback long term.
Well, from one awkward situation to another, here is about 2 minutes of Jameis Winston speaking about Deshaun Watson, which has left a lot of people, I guess, confused and with a lot of different thoughts on the situation and how Jameis is talking about it versus how Deshaun has looked to society in general versus the football field. Here's Jameis Winston on really more specifically the Browns fans cheering, or it appeared that they were cheering as Deshaun was getting carted off. Here it is.
The way I was raised, I was taught to love no matter the circumstances, especially for people who do right by you. I'm grateful that I had a chance to serve Deshaun, but I am very upset with the reaction to a man that has had the world against him for the past 4 years, and he put his body and life on the line for this city every single day, regardless of your perception, regardless of what you thought should happen with him. He committed every single day that I've been here to be the best that he can be for this team. And I know I come from the deep south, Birmingham, Alabama, Bushman, Alabama. So I know the standard that hungry fans want. But the way I was raised, I will never pull on a man when he's down. But I will be the person to lift him up. And that, all of us have unique experiences. All of us have circumstances, conditions, and facts that we face every single day. And I pride myself in being a man of increase and being a man that wants the best out of everybody. I tell myself every morning, what I want for myself, I want for everyone. And I do not want the treatment that Deshaun Watson has received from these passionate fans. I know you love this game. So when I first got here, I knew these were some amazing fans. But Deshaun was treated badly. And now he has to overcome another obstacle. So I'm going to support him. I'm going to lift him up. And I'm going to be there for him. Because I see the way he fights. I see the way that he works. And I know who he is as a person and as an NFL quarterback. And that's all I have to say to address him. I'm sending up my prayers. I already prayed for his leg, and I will continue.
I guess my biggest issue with what Jameis said was literally the beginning, Chris. Now that I re-listened to it, literally within the first 10 seconds, the world was against him. I think that's my biggest issue, and maybe my only issue with what Jameis had to say. I mean, just putting it, because that's the one time that he kind of takes it out of the context of football. He got here and he's had the world against him for the last 4 years. That's probably my biggest issue with what Jameis said, because that, again, it comes off like a victim versus you put yourself into the situation.
Yeah, I think the problem is just the lack of acknowledgement of what's going on. I mean, there's 22 settled cases with Deshaun Watson, and so I think it's just people in general wanted to, it feels like it's too much of one side of it. It's too much of, whoa, everyone's being way too aggressive here and we don't understand it. Well, try and understand it, because right. I think it's not that fans are just, this isn't I think like a Josh Giddey situation where Josh Giddey was not found guilty of anything. It was a bunch of, whether it is true or not, it was as it stands just internet rumors, and he got booed. I can understand maybe in that kind of situation where you could say, hey man, this guy's been treated unfairly, the situation, everything. But with Deshaun Watson, there's just cold hard evidence, there's facts, there's truth, and I think it's the lack of nuance of the conversation that is really, really upsetting people, is that it's all, hey, you guys being the general audience is being unfair to Deshaun Watson, and I actually kind of think they are being fair. Now, whether or not you want to have the conversation of if it's okay to cheer when somebody's down, I think that's a different conversation, but not understanding where people are coming from, I think is the part that's going really, really deaf on people, especially considering how the NFL's rap in general has been with these kind of cases. And I think a lot of it is just not seeing the other side of things.
Kenny Dillingham, coach for Arizona State football, says that they will be holding kicker tryouts today because their kicking game is atrocious. Here it is.
You can be aggressive, but just because you convert doesn't guarantee that you make it one possession. So you would hope that you can make, a kick, one of those, but our kicking game's atrocious. So if you can kick and you're at Arizona State, email me, right? We're going to have kicking tryouts on Monday. So Bring it on. Kicking tryouts Monday. Let's go. Yeah, I'm dead serious. We're going to put it out on our social. We're going to have a kicking tryout on Monday. We got to find somebody who can make a field goal.
That's crazy.
Someone asked him, "Are you serious?" He said, "No, I'm dead
serious nature in which he is 0% joking. I don't even think you needed to ask. He is 100% serious. Wow. I don't think I've ever heard anything that insane, especially from a college level. Like, usually they try and protect the kids and say, "Oh, no, we wish no." To straight up say, like, "No, our kicking sucks. Our kicker sucks," and literally anybody on campus with a foot, please come to tryouts. That's pretty crazy, but I do love a good college football coach just losing his marbles.
Yeah, that's exactly how you draw it up. And we need to get an update on how the tryouts have gone. I'm gonna actually check out the Arizona State
It's gotta be something.
football Twitter and see, hey, did they straight up say, hey, please come out and help us? So they have not posted anything about the kicking tryouts. All they have is from the game. But yeah, we will definitely get an update on whether or not the kicking tryouts happened and if anyone was successful. Wasn't it TCU women's basketball?
Yes.
They ran out of players for whatever reason, and they said, hey, they found ladies that played in high school, and I think they might have won a game.
They did, yeah.
Or something like that. So you never know. There are a lot of shady athletes on every campus that just didn't want to deal with the intensity of playing college. But you go to some of those intramural games, and you'll see some ballers doing a lot of things. I'm sure Arizona State could find somebody who played soccer in high school, didn't feel like doing the kicking thing,
guaranteed,
and is just hanging out, especially Arizona State. It's a big old school. So maybe Emil can help them.
That's
Emil
right.
Fregoso, alumnus of Arizona State. Emil, get somebody to help your boy. Brandon Aiyuk. Maybe, get somebody to help, man. What's going on? All right. We know what's going on in Major League Baseball. The World Series is set. Dodgers, Yankees, Major League Baseball finally did it. But do you care? Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find Keegan Murray is Sacktown Sports.
Out to Keegan Murray, straight away for three, and Keegan knocks down the triple.
Hey Sacramento, it's Keegan Murray, and you're listening to the home of Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
The following is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Starting to come out now. Jordan Schultz. This was 4 minutes ago. Sources: Brandon Aiyuk suffered a season-ending knee injury on Sunday. Test confirmed 4 minutes ago. All right, we're waiting for official word, but Jordan Schultz has been all over this. He's been having a great
season so far.
Yeah, great season so far for Jordan Schultz. Got the new podcast, doing stuff on Fox, and it seems like he has broken this news first for Brandon Aiyuk. Season-ending knee injury on Sunday. I mean, you really couldn't cook up a worse season for the Niners coming back from losing the Super Bowl. The last season, that was supposed to be your revenge season because you lost Brock Purdy. You come into this season, Christian McCaffrey hasn't even played a game. Debo has been in and out. And now Brandon Aiyuk.
Your first round pick got shot.
Your first round pick got shot.
In the middle of the street.
Brandon Aiyuk had to hold out. And with Trent Williams had to hold out, but that seemed to be okay. I think he might have missed a game. Brandon Aiyuk, he holds out, comes back, doesn't look good. And now on top of that, okay, he's finally working his way in. By the way, we're not even talking about it because it doesn't matter, but Brandon Aiyuk still dropping passes. That over-the-top pass that he dropped, and now he's out for the rest of the year. This is coming from Jordan Schultz. We're waiting for more confirmation, but we're seeing the outlets talk about it as well. But yeah, I mean, is it a crazy idea, Chris? You're not gonna lose because you still have that window open. But all right, now you're down to the Debo, Ricky Pearsall, who's coming back from getting shot. Okay, and you have George Kittle. You don't know when you're getting Christian McCaffrey back. You can't tank on purpose, but it does definitely change the thought process of this is that last dance. The whole thing about it is that the last dance, that was based on contracts, right? It's not based on, oh, no, we just wanted it to be the last dance. We could have the real last dance next year. No, the last dance was because you got to pay Brock.
Yeah.
So I know
Trent, we don't know about Trent either,
and the Trent situation and how long he got his money. So
right.
You think
right,
but now this whole last dance thing, that's not a matter of choice. That's a matter of the situation. So what happens with Debo Samuel? Who, obviously somebody's sick. It's not on him, but it's not on you with injury either. But Debo is closer to 30 than he is 25. You got George Kittle, right? So where you go next, they are not. Somebody earlier on the text line talked about tanking. They're too good to tank. And honestly, the NFC West isn't good enough to tank. So they're going to be stuck. Maybe they get a wild card. Maybe they don't. But they're going to be stuck in a kind of a mid-draft situation. Maybe they can get somebody decent, right? You'll be drafting a bit higher or lower than you normally are. It's not over for the Niners, but I do think it might be time to change the expectations, Chris.
No, I mean, and I don't know about you, but I saw way more Debo Samuel is a name to watch at the trade deadline than I was expecting to see this weekend. Actually, Diana Rossini straight up put it in one of her articles under trade deadline names to watch, put Bryce Young, Deontay Johnson, and Debo Samuel as some of the names listed on there. So I don't know if the Aiyuk injury changes that. I don't know if the Aiyuk injury confirms that being a thing for the Niners, but it's really, really, really starting to feel like the absolute most nightmare season for the Niners. And I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think it's a really interesting, everything you just laid out with the Super Bowl window. It's going to be interesting to see how the Niners attack that part of it. Do they feel like this was really a year, or do they feel like this is still not time to overreact, not time to make adjustments? And maybe, much like we said with the Kings, if Malik Monk gets hurt and De'Aaron and DeRozan get hurt, I don't think they're going to make wholesale changes. I think that they'll probably just say, oh, no, we were so injured. We think we have the talent here in the building to get it done. We'll just kick it over to next year and play out this year. I think it's so tough because we're about approaching the middle point of the NFL season, and I think it's kind of getting towards the time where the Niners have enough time if they wanted to make a change, or it's so deep in the season you could understand them just saying, it's just not our year, and why try and compound a mistake where really we should probably just look at the cards that we've been dealt and say, I think we might have to just fold.
Yeah.
And whatever version that can be tanking, it can be, again, just playing out the year and saying, yeah, we're 9-8 and we might lose in the wild card, we might lose in the second round, but we're not going to put those lofty expectations on us this year.
I'd like to add too, I think 2020 was worse injury-wise. Coming off that Super Bowl loss, they signed Trent Williams that year. That was his first year. I'm looking at the IRs. I'm seeing 3 receivers. You get D Ford going on IR. Jimmy Garoppolo goes out in that week 2 against the Jets. Bosa tears his ACL week 2. Solomon Thomas tears his ACL. Richard Sherman goes out. Debo goes on IR. I'm just saying it could be a lot worse. There's more here too. I don't want to just sit here and list all the injuries because it is insane. It is insane. You got 2 starters on the O-line going on IR too, and it definitely can be worse. And I would lose all hope right now if it wasn't for the 21 and the 22 season where Brock took over, and 21 where the Niners looked awful and made it to the NFC Championship game. So
how much hope is there that McCaffrey comes back after the bye and everything is just fine?
The hope isn't very high. I don't think McCaffrey coming back just makes everything fine. I think Brandon Aiyuk being out for the rest of the season means that Debo probably won't be traded. Right. Like you guys were talking about. I don't think they can do that unless they're giving up on this season. If they're giving up on the season, then trade Debo. Sure. I don't want that to happen. I think this is probably the lowest of the low you're going to get emotionally. If they start losing after this, it's hard to feel worse than you do right now as a Niners fan.
I'm just not really sure where, some of the teams that are interested, the one team that sticks out in my mind, Chris, that still is in need of a wide receiver is the Kansas City Chiefs. So the Niners are not sending Debo to Kansas City. No. That's not happening. I saw a name, or they could be buyers in a crazy world. I saw somebody say, go get Deontay Johnson for the Panthers, who's a pretty darn good receiver who's catching passes from one Andy Dalton right now. So that's a guy, that's a name who do the Niners make a move because you know who else is going to get him or going to look at him is Kansas City. I don't think the Niners can operate. After yesterday with that butt whooping, they can't operate as if, oh, well, let's get this because we're lockstep with Kansas City. You're not. You're not. No. And I would say this to what you're saying, Nate. I would say we're closer to people just not blowing up the season, but giving the season a whole pass than we are from the Niners making the NFC Championship right now. Maybe Ricky Pearsall can change some things, but I think we're pretty close to where the shills come into play, to where it's, oh my goodness, what were the Niners? It just gets to a point where you can't overcome these injuries and you just try to give the whole season a mulligan. And to them, I would say, then let's stop having the conversations where you bring up the Niners and the Chiefs in the same breath. Because the Niners and the Chiefs are essentially dealing with the same thing. So if you utter those words out of your mouth that, oh, well, the Niners are dealing with all this, that's cool. But the Chiefs aren't making those types of excuses. They're just winning football games. Yeah. So you can say that, but don't write an article about how the Niners and Chiefs they both do things the right way. Maybe they do, but again, a Chrysler 300 looks like a Phantom until a Phantom pulls up. And right now, the Niners are more of that Chrysler 300, and the Chiefs seem to be that Phantom. We got a little bit of prop talk when we return, and our picks. I did not do very well. And a little bit of a mini preview to Dodgers, Yankees, and how bad the traffic is going to be in L.A. this weekend. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sacktown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
At the
law offices of Dale R. Gomes, we understand that when you're facing a crisis, you need more than just a lawyer. You need a team. Our dedicated attorneys work together, combining decades of experience to guide you through personal injury or criminal defense matters with care and expertise. We're committed to supporting you every step of the way, ensuring your voice is heard and your rights are protected. With offices in Sacramento and El Dorado County, reach out to the law offices of Dale R. Gomes today, 916-999-9033, or online at dalegomslaw.com.
Tired of ads interrupting your favorite news podcasts? Good news! Ad-free listening on Amazon Music is included with your Prime membership. Stay up to date on everything newsworthy with podcasts like The Daily, Up First, and 5 Things Uninterrupted at amazon.com/ad-free. Just head to amazon.com/ad-free to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
Buying or selling a home is a big deal, literally. It's one of the largest financial transactions you're likely to make. So work with someone who will work with your best interests in mind. Someone who agrees to operate with transparency, honesty, and fairness every step of the way. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors and are bound by a strict code of ethics that requires they put your interests above their own. Because that's who we are. Make sure your agent is a realtor.
The Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is the only store in the world to be named a top 100 shop for 40 years straight. Yes, the only golf shop in the world. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is your unsurpassed spot to find the hottest golf gear, best pricing, and elite expertise. Try any club on the shelf on the driving range for free and let our staff show you everything you need to look and play better. You love golf. The Hagen Oaks team loves golf too. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue at Business 80. Learn more at hagenoaks.com or 916-481-GOLF.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kent Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kent Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sacktown Sports 1140, part of SEP's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
The Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is your unsurpassed spot to find the hottest golf gear, best pricing, and elite expertise. Every club on the shelves can be tried for free on the driving range. 3 TrackMan units and a Hagen Oaks team of skilled fitting professionals provide the finest club fitting experience. Our personable Super Shop staff will show you the newest to help you look and play your best. You love golf. The Hagen Oaks team loves golf too. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue at Business 80. Learn more at hagenoaks.com or 916-481-GOLF.
When is the best time to buy a new air conditioning system? Right now with Bell Brothers' end of summer clear-out sale. You'll get up to $2,700 off a top-of-the-line AC system. Plus, no payments or interest for 1 year for qualified buyers. Call Bell Brothers now at 916-444-1234 or go online to thenosurpriseguys.com because we only have a limited number of new top-of-the-line AC systems. And when they're gone, this offer is over. Need more info? Call us. Estimates and second opinions are always free. So call now for up to $2,700 off a new premium AC system. And no payments or interest for 1 year. Plus, if you call now, we'll throw in your choice of a free smart thermostat or indoor air purification system. But you have to call Bell Brothers now at 916-444-1234 or online at thenosurpriseguys.com. Remember, end of summer is the best time to buy and save on a new AC system. Thenosurpriseguys.com.
Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
From Bob Nightingale, the Major League Players Association has been lobbying for months for the A's to play on grass instead of artificial turf in Sacramento, and they get their wish. It's now official. Their games will be played on grass in Sacramento.
Good for the Heat.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be good for the River Cats and the A's playing just about every single day on that surface, though.
Yeah, my main thing about this is, look, hopefully this all works out, but it's very funny to me when people, and it's going to sound like I'm picking on people in Sacramento, but I'm not. This is more about just in general. This is just the most recent example. But, the picking and choosing of when I'm going to believe what an athlete says or what people close to a situation says versus not. It's funny how people pick and choose, because a lot of people thought that it was an indictment on Sacramento, and people were saying, when it came out that people in the baseball world were saying it's going to be too hot, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. And we had people that, have no clue really what they're talking about. Oh, well, it's going to be hot, but we don't hear football, high school football, they play on turf, and what's about this and blah, 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 blah. And what do you know, at the end of the day, it did get resolved, but the players really didn't want to play on turf.
Yeah.
So you sitting there saying, oh, it's going to be fine, people are making a big deal out of nothing, where in reality, no, the people getting paid millions of dollars don't want to do this. Just sometimes you just let things play out, and you don't have to play. It doesn't have to be victim all the time. It doesn't have to be you're trying to talk bad about Sacramento. No, it's just going to be hot as hell. And nobody wants to do that, right? Cleats melting, and let's be honest, there's a lot of money here on the line. People are going to be paying a lot of money to watch these games. They want a good product, and these players are getting paid a lot of money as well. They got to put their bodies on the line and their health, because that's literally how they get paid. So I'm glad it all worked out, but just the amount of people that we heard just saying, oh my goodness, people are just being soft and blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, Major League Baseball, it got figured out because nobody wanted to play on turf. And that's just what it was, Chris.
From a logistics standpoint, though, how difficult do you think it will be to maintain that grass? Because it's going to get chewed up. It's going to get chewed up.
Yeah.
Is that not as much of a safety health hazard as anything else? I mean, if there's, just mounds of dirt in the outfield that are chunked out because they only had 8 days off in the entire month, I think it's a toss-up, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's not going to be. I mean, that's part of the problem with them doing this setup is neither one is a perfect answer. It's just one might be better than the other, I guess.
Right. The infield grass, I'm not really too. I mean, not going to touch that much, but yeah, I don't know. There's definitely going to be some wear and tear. And I've played in places where your ankle it's rough, but you just got to trust the groundskeepers to keep that thing in ship shape and in good order here. As we talk about the A's, and now we head to the top of the baseball world, the Dodgers and Yankees, they are facing off in the World Series, Chris. And I just quickly, we'll get into a little bit more when we get closer. Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani in the Fall Classic. It's the first time since 1956 that the AL and NL home run leaders will play against each other in the World Series. I think it's going to be must-see TV. This is exactly what you need if you are a baseball fan and you want baseball to kind of just show itself a little bit better than it had been in the past. And yeah, I think it's going to pull in a lot of casual viewers. That is the hope. But it's going to be a crazy night, Chris. This is Friday night in LA. All right, we talk about a little bit of traffic issues. Friday night in LA, game 1 of the World Series, Yankees versus Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. Lakers versus Suns at Crypto.com Arena. USC versus Rutgers at the Coliseum. There's a concert at the Intuit Dome. Roosevelt Garfield at SoFi Stadium, in St. John Bosco, a modern day at Santa Ana Stadium. And this is from Eric Sondheimer. Pray for every driver. That is going to be a nightmare, a complete nightmare out there, man. Somebody else says 2028 Olympics dress rehearsal.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, if any city's able to hold those kind of festivities, I'd imagine it's going to be LA, but we know how that traffic situation goes. I mean, we said the same thing about New York the other day, right? It was you had the Mets series, you had the Yankees series, they had there was something else going on in New York too. I mean, the Liberty game. yeah, I mean, it's that time of year where everything's kind of mashing all at once, and it's awesome, but it does definitely, cause some conflicts there. And if you're in LA, I mean, I would imagine that most of LA has got to be locked into the World Series, and that matters more than even the Lakers at this point or anything else. But
LeBron, KD.
It's LeBron, KD. That's the only thing. I would still imagine that Yankees-Dodgers World Series game is probably still going to hold the attention. I will say LA gets a really bad rap for being fickle fans, but they do really like the Dodgers. The Dodgers is the team where
they show up late, though. They do, but maybe that's the traffic.
It's literally the traffic.
The difference between New York and LA is you got the subway.
Yes, exactly. There's no public transportation that's worth taking in LA.
I am planning on going to the Olympics when it's in LA, but I'm not bringing a car.
No, there's no
I'm just going to, you got to cash out and be close, and that's where I'm at, man.
Exactly. No, I mean, that's going to be good luck trying to get an Airbnb or a hotel. I'm sure those things have already started to book up, but it's going to be an absolute nightmare because I'm sure everybody's going to be trying. Anyone who's in California is going to try and go to the Olympics, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
I'm going to, that's for sure.
There you go.
All right. These signings are crazy. They're coming out of nowhere. Jalen Suggs just signs an extension, 5-year, $150 million. With the Orlando Magic.
Well, I think today's the deadline.
It is.
Yeah,
yes, it is.
Yeah. So that's why it's all rocking and rolling. Wow, Jalen Suggs in Orlando, defensive guy. I like him. Look, we thought that was going to be Malik Monk's home. And now he said, give me that money that you were going to give to Malik. Okay, so Nate, you had all the breakdowns for and it was a terrible week for me, but okay.
I didn't realize until this morning it's a Monday night doubleheader. It just didn't click in my head. Hate him. But Chris is ahead by 1 right now. Alan, you're knocked out this week pretty much. Yeah, you're out. Chris missed 3. I missed 4. Alan, you missed 5. So it would have to take both of us to miss both of ours. But I don't think it's going to happen because I'm not going to pick the same games as Chris. I will make my initial picks first. Tonight we have Ravens versus the
Bucks.
versus the Bucks, and then the Cardinals and the Chargers, a matchup you don't see very much. I'm going to take both the bird teams. I'm taking the Ravens and the Cardinals tonight.
Wow.
Huh.
I'm definitely going to take the Ravens for sure. I think I'm going to take the Chargers. I mean, I feel like I've already stated that I have to quit the Cardinals for my own mental health. I don't think the Chargers are necessarily any more stable than they are, but I will have to take the Chargers just because I do think that they're going to control a lot of possession, and we'll see how much if they can finally get the pass game going too. I know Justin Herbert had one nice game through the air, but it's been a lot of them really attacking the rushing game, which is very Harbaugh. But I'm going Chargers.
Well, I guess it doesn't really matter.
No,
for
make
me.
a pick though.
Okay, make a pick.
Yeah, no,
do it with your heart.
I'm probably I'm going Bucks.
Why not?
Yeah, I'm going Bucks, and I'm going Chargers as well. This does
Bucks
seem like a game
Yeah.
where Kyler could be scurrying around, but I just feel like Harbaugh is going to have something for him. It's a tough one. Guys, real quick, I know we've been pretty negative on the Niners today, but I liked what I saw from Jacob Cowing.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was one of the rookies, too,
yeah.
that's been came to play. So.
Yeah, he had that. They got him on a bubble pass, and then Brock had that deep pass, a 41-yard pass to him. I
Take
think
him over Ronnie.
They might have something. They might have something with Jacob Cowing.
He's a good third receiver, at least for now, for sure. And especially Juwan Jennings probably steps up with these next couple weeks. I mean, at this point, Ricky Pearsall's only played one game.
Right.
Do you give Cowing more snaps? Do you give?
I think you would.
Do you give Pearsall?
Right now.
He's the first round pick. It'll be interesting. I mean, I think Cowing has definitely showed more throughout this entire season. Even in the preseason, Cowing looked great.
I think the blocking has been the issue.
Right. That's right. That's right.
Real quick, guys, prop talk. Obviously, Niners
oh boy.
not playing today, but we still gotcha. I think I don't know if it normally counts the same way because there's a doubleheader going on, but I'm going with primetime Lamar. I think it might be a bit of a shootout. I'm going over 228 passing yards. Primetime Lamar, man.
I think I'm going to go. I'm trying to think which one of the I really like the Bucs receivers. They've just both been killing it. I think I'm going to take Chris Godwin, and I'm going to take his over receiving yards. I would just do him to do a touchdown, but that's a little too bland. I'll do Chris Godwin over 76 receiving yards, 76 and a half.
That always feels like a lot to me.
Really for Godwin though, that's
but then you know what I normally do, or my friend normally does? They see that and then they say, all right, that means that the best defender is going to be on Godwin.
Sure.
So Mike Evans is going to cut.
You got to stop hanging out with this guy.
Yeah,
whoever
he's
he
just
is.
not correct.
I'm going to go Justin Herbert, 197.5 passing yards under.
Whoa.
Herbert's averaging 160 yards per game this season.
What are we doing with
that? He went over 197 once. It was week 1 against Denver.
Yep.
That's the Harbaugh offense, Greg Roman offense. That's it to a T right there. I'm taking the under.
Yeah.
Even with the extra day.
There you go. All right, crosstalk when we return with Whitey Gleason of the Drive Guys, Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Keegan Murray plays here.
Keegan scores another three-pointer. Keegan Murray knocking it down for 23 points. Match De'Aaron Fox for game scoring honors.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Hey, this is Greg Papa. Are you working through a major insurance claim? Sunpoint Public Adjusters can help. Sunpoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to, not what just some adjuster working for an insurance company thinks you should get. Call Sunpoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. Sunpoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
O'Reilly.
Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts in West Sacramento and Town Center Plaza next to Nugget Markets now through October 29th for the Customer Appreciation Day sale. You'll get 2 times O rewards points on select purchases. Plus, pick up 5 quarts of any Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil and receive a $10 gift card after rebate. And buy one, get one free Coca-Cola products at your Town Center Plaza, O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Did you know that Wendy's has any size soft drinks for just $1? Yeah, any size, anytime. Like $1 Coke, $1 Sprite, or even $1 strawberry Fanta. Okay, could we maybe switch up the sound effect? Please? 'Cause I'm losing it. Wow, no, not that. Any size soft drink for just $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. A la carte only. Not valid in a combo. Exclusions apply.
Tesla, keeping it real tour. Saturday, November 9th, the venue at Thunder Valley. Tesla, live. The multi-platinum rock band returns with special guest, Fuel. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Tesla, keeping it real tour.
There's no need to be scared of auto maintenance this October. Your local Jiffy Lube has just the treats you need without the tricks, like fast oil changes or wiper blades for the upcoming rainy season. Serving greater Sacramento area customers since 1984 with over 30 convenient locations to choose from. Open daily, early at 7:30 and open past 6 p.m. at most locations. Just visit jiffylube.com to find a location near you and valuable coupons to save money too.
Model Year End pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the Model Year End event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Sactown Sports. Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Joined by Whitey Gleason. Whitey. How's it going?
Oh, just trying to figure out what the heck happened to your boy Brock Purdy yesterday.
How bad was that, man?
You know, a lot of people today are saying, I know you guys talked about it. Oh, well, it's tough for him. That defense is great, which they are. And he didn't have his weapons, which is true. But he looked like he didn't know where the ball was going yesterday.
Yeah. It's something about, and it's funny because you have Brian Flores and Brock talking about that scheme was crazy. I don't think we got another quote like that from Brock to Spagnuolo, but we spent a good amount of time last week discussing the Brock has no weaknesses quote and how Steve Spagnuolo said it. Was he just playing the game? And there were a lot of, some Niners writers were saying, no. I mean, if you look at what Brock can do, he doesn't have any weaknesses. And some people saying, hey, I think Steve Spagnuolo's been around the block. He's not going to sit there and say, oh, yeah, well, we really like blah, 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 blah. So we went through the exercise last week, and I think the main thing, we had a good caller who said, have you noticed that Brock, I guess you teach against it, but have you noticed that Brock, even when he's on the run, will not really throw on the run? He always sets his feet and then throws, and that led us to talking about the windows and how the windows close very quickly. And the other thing, Whitey, was just the arm strength in particular. Now, not to say that Brock doesn't have a good arm, but if you put him on a scale with all the other QBs, just pure arm strength, where he would land. But yeah, as far as weaknesses are concerned, I thought it was a good exercise. And whatever weakness it is, it's just bring the house and –
well, they're facing a lot of more man stuff.
Right.
Which, and the Chiefs are the ones that introduced that in the Super Bowl last year. And now it's like they've broken the 49er offense. Shanahan's great at scheming up, getting guys open, primarily against the zone.
Yeah, zone
and
defense merchant.
A lot more man, and it's throwing everything off, and the receivers aren't getting separation in man, and Purdy is like, he didn't know what he's seeing or something. And then when he does have a guy semi-open, he's throwing it nowhere near him yesterday.
Yeah.
That was really alarming.
Yeah, you kind of said it to start the segment, but I do feel like yesterday really – like, it played a factor for sure, but it didn't really feel like yesterday was you can use the excuse of, he didn't have the playmakers. I think he was bad regardless, right?
I agree, yeah. A lot of people are saying that, but that's not what I saw.
Yeah, and I think in a way it was kind of like, I think Dave might have said it this morning, but it was kind of like Brock Purdy hater Super Bowl yesterday. Like, that game performance is like everything that people who don't think Brock Purdy is good, they're going to use that for forever and to just kind of justify him. And I didn't really feel like yesterday was the case where if they had the full complement of receivers, I thought it was just Brock was just bad yesterday. And I think that's okay to say. Like, Josh Allen was bad to start the season last year when he had 4 picks against the Jets. Like, you can still be an elite quarterback or near an elite quarterback and have bad games, but it feels like, with Brock, it's got to be all or nothing for some reason.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Chris. And I feel like other quarterbacks, you're allowed to say some of the things. It's almost turning into the opposite, where Niner fans and I guess you could say Niner media, they're so protective over Brock because of the hating that he's received, that now you can't even just say he didn't play well without people thinking that you're being a hater, whereas, hey, I think Brock is a top 10 quarterback. He didn't play like that yesterday.
Right.
And when you have people defending the interception, with Ronnie Bell, and then you have Brock going out and saying, no, and first of all, I don't know if you saw social media. Immediately, everybody said, I'm just going to go ahead and assume that was on Ronnie Bell.
I saw that too, and having seen the play, I was wondering, like, how is that Ronnie Bell's fault?
Right. I mean, as soon as they're just ready to type it up.
Yeah.
As soon as the interception gets made.
I understand that, though. I get it.
But then you have Brock Purdy come out and say, it's on me. Everyone says he's just being a good teammate. It actually was on Ronnie Bell. You're not even in the line. You don't even know what the play was.
I thought I read that Shanahan also said.
That's what I'm saying. Then Shanahan came out
and
and said, no, it actually was on Brock, guys.
Very definite, too. He was like, no, that was Brock's fault.
So I just...
Yeah, because
and now
Ronnie Bell, the corner is way off of him, so he cuts the route short because he's not going to get by him. And Brock Purdy, when he throws it, there's not even a split second there where it looks like, oh, Ronnie Bell is open deep. So why is that's the type of decisions he was making yesterday? And maybe, Chris, like you say, and I know you didn't say this was an excuse, but maybe because he didn't have the playmakers, he got desperate. He's like, these guys ain't getting open.
Starts to go
I just
hero
gotta throw it
ball.
up in the air and hope. But still, like the one in the end zone, it's like, that was third down, right? It's like, you don't throw it into double coverage.
Yeah.
And the ball came out of his hand point down, and I know he got hit.
Yeah.
But still, the ball was like point down, so it was like diving, or it was point up, it was like boop. He's throwing it straight up in the air. It was weird.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. You know what's not weird, though?
What?
Yankees, Dodgers. We finally got it, Whitey. Finally got it.
Yeah.
What a eh?
Yeah.
What's a eh?
Who do I root for in this series?
Yankees. Yankees. It's not even a question.
Yeah, I guess
the Yankees
so.
didn't buy their championship like the Dodgers.
Well,
I think
Garrett Cole's on the phone.
No, I'm just kidding. I just hate the Dodgers. I do think that it will be good for baseball, and timing is everything. The first game is on Friday, and by that time, NBA will be rocking and rolling, so they'll suffer a little bit there. But what Aaron Judge, with Giancarlo Stanton, what they've been doing, and obviously Shohei is always box office. I'm happy for the game of baseball, and I hope that the ratings reflect it.
Yeah. Can I ask Chris a question?
Oh, boy.
No.
What'd you think of the end of the WNBA season? You're Mr. WNBA. And I know that it's like, there's so much going on NFL Sunday.
Yeah, no,
I thought that was one of the worst calls I've ever seen in my life.
It was just in general a terrible game. It was very Game 7-ish, just in terms of the tightness and people missing shots left and right. Sabrina going 1 of 19 is unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal. That's unacceptable. Breonna Stewart definitely traveled on that last play, and in terms of the foul itself, it was light. It was definitely really soft, especially considering that's essentially for the championship. And
she
on the other,
the contact.
She created all the contact after traveling, and she, by the letter of the law, she got her arm hit, but it wasn't a foul, especially again for the season, for the title. You don't call that, especially on the other end when there was very, very, very similar contact on a Nafisa Collier layup. No call. No call, nothing.
Alan ruining the greatest season in WNBA history.
And we talk about people putting in the fix. The WNBA commissioner, I don't know if you guys saw.
What she was
wearing a dress that had the New York skyline on it.
That.
Not good.
And directly said in the speech, like, this is where the title should be. Like, the title returns, or doesn't return because they never won. This is where this title needs to go. Essentially, is what she said, and I get it. I think it's best for the WNBA for one of the Liberty or the Aces to win this season. But definitely, we couldn't play the Minnesota Lynx coach audio because she cursed about 30 times. But it was about as close of a sell job as you're going to see, especially in those kind of stakes. It was pretty crazy. Their two best players were terrible.
And
Breonna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu, terrible.
You're normally never on this, the tinfoil.
It was bad. It was really, really bad.
I didn't watch the game, and I saw some stuff this morning. Oh, LeBron tweeted something, and the coach is mad.
Yeah.
And I looked at it. Oh, no!
Very like she just did travel. She took like 4 steps. She got the ball. She staggered her feet. She then ran into the opponent. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. But I was rooting for the Liberty, so I was fine with it.
Oh, okay.
Go Libs.
Whitey, hottest take we saw today.
Oh, man.
Niners should just tank and go after Jalen Milroe or Cam Ward.
And bring back Salah.
And bring back Salah for the defensive side.
Remember a couple years ago when they were 3-4, and there were some people saying, if they don't pull out of this, they're going to have to just start playing Trey Lance and just let him develop and give up on the season. They were that close just a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well,
not the first time for them.
I think the main thing we've heard crazy thoughts before, just as far as paying Brock Purdy, and I compared it to De'Aaron Fox with a lot of people saying, oh, well, Brock's not worth this. It's just what the market is. And when you read off some of the names as far as, oh, well, we can't give Brock $55 million or $50 million, whatever it is. When you read off these names with Trevor Lawrence at 55, Jordan Love at 55, Tua at 53, Jared Goff at 53, and so on and so forth, the bottom line is you're not if you're calling in, and we had some callers call in and say, well, we shouldn't pay Brock that. You're not calling in and saying, oh, let's pay Brock $40 million, what Daniel Jones is making. You're essentially saying you want to move off of Brock, because that's just not an option. The same way, if De'Aaron Fox is gets to All NBA and he's eligible for that super max, and people will chime in and saying, well, we shouldn't pay him that. Well, then you're saying you want to move off of De'Aaron Fox.
Right.
There's no world where these guys are able to get paid
We'll give
this
you
money.
30.
Yeah, that's not.
Yesterday.
I think a lot of people think that's an option. That's not an option.
Not an option.
That's not an option. Either you're going to rock with these guys or you're going to move on. Some of these other names, based on when they made their deals, I mean, Baker at 33. Baker, that probably is one of the best deals in the league right now. Want to see what Baker does against a team like the Ravens. Kind of a fraud watch for the Bucs. They've played well against teams they're supposed to beat. How do
Falcons,
they do?
frauds.
Man, what were they doing? Darnell Mooney.
They weren't getting to the quarterback, I'll tell you that.
Come on, Darnell Mooney. All right. Congrats to our winner for the Sam Morrell tickets. We will have more chance for you throughout the week. Thanks to the callers, texters, sack chatters. Thanks to Nate. Great job as always. Stiles and Watkins got the Drive Guys coming up next. Getting you ready for the double trouble of Monday Night Football. Until tomorrow, secure the bag. Like the beam.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry. You never have to miss